Yo, Stan, what up, bro?
More, what up, bro? My man. How you, man?
I'm good. It's funny because I started hearing the YouTube live playing in the background, so I started freaking myself out for a minute. I'm like, where's it coming from? But I found it was coming from my other browser. I had it loaded up, but we live, man.
Live, what up, man? Everybody logging on? How y'all feeling? How y'all
You
doing?
know they feeling good. They seen that post you posted, bro. You posted that post the other day. Let me actually pull that up on my
Yeah,
phone so I can read it. You posted that post and the comments went crazy, and I just
like
reshared
right
it
away too.
today.
It was wild right away.
You said in January, I changed the business model from rent to commission and
Yep.
gave my team 30 days to decide. You
Mm-hmm.
said 70% of your team left. 3 months later, both locations are doing at least 30 brand new first time walk-ins a week, and the
Mm-hmm.
barbers who stayed are making more money than ever. And then
Yep.
you put leadership is hard. It takes
Mm-hmm.
courage. Keep in mind, when I made the switch, both of my shops were 90% full, right?
Yes.
And it got a ton of engagement on your page and it got a ton of engagement on mine. People are trying to hear you discuss this. And
Yes.
before we hear you discuss this, I do want to say
Mm-hmm.
this. There was a time I
Mm-hmm.
remember we were talking about some of the commission booth rent stuff,
Yeah.
and I guess I could say you were against the commission idea
Yep.
because you were just running the booth rent model. So where when I was bringing some booth rent people on and I was bringing commission people on, you were kind of on the
Mm-hmm.
side of the booth rent.
Yeah.
And over time, and this is what I love
Mm-hmm.
about you too as a
Mm-hmm.
person, you know what I'm saying? We have developed our friendship, but over time,
Mm-hmm.
what I've learned about you is you're willing to explore things, remain open-minded,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
even change your mind, which is hard for so many of us to do, especially us who are stubborn. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
with all of that being said, we got to hear this,
Yeah.
bro. We got to hear like
Yeah.
what even led to you wanting to go from booth rent to commission, especially when you were so used to doing rent and you were getting the results, at least at that time that you were looking for. What led
Mm-hmm.
to the change?
So there was a lot of factors, right? And when you pay attention to everything and you track everything, decisions become easier. But it's never easy, right? And I say that tongue in cheek because it's like when you have the data, you clearly know what you should do, but the implementation of it is where most people stop because they're scared to let go, right? So, what made me do it, right? First, I want to rewind everybody and take everybody back. I owned 3 booth rent barbershops for 12 years successfully.
Mm,
I closed one because me and the landlord couldn't agree. I had that space for 13 years. He didn't want to invest in it. Inflation went through the roof. He wanted to charge me midtown prices, and the building was falling apart. So I decided to let it go and close that location. I relocated those barbers to other locations when I had booths available. Very strategic. All was well. I didn't lose any barbers by closing that location. We just relocated them. That
yeah.
was a sign of quality leadership, right? So I had 2 locations and I was opening up a school. So I was like, all right, now I can focus on the school. I have 2 really good managers that can help keep the business going. And then I can work there on the weekends, have me a little salary while I go work at the school for free for 1 year because that was my goal. I said, I got to build this thing. And whenever you launch a new business, you have to be all in and make big sacrifices to build a school. Never did it before, didn't know what to expect. So I had to focus 100% of my energy there. Right. All of that was on booth rent. What then happened is as I went into the shop or the school setting and I was there Monday through Friday, I was teaching every day, all day, pretty much. Right. And when you run a booth rent model, all of your barbers are independent contractors, basically, an independent booth renter. And each person, technically, as a booth renter, is responsible for their own clientele, right? And when I left to go open up the school, I left my shops with clientele. One, the specific one is the newest one I worked at for 5 years. I never raised rent. I went through the pandemic. I hold the entire team down. I built the location. We had a lot of clientele. Everybody there was there a couple years, and everybody was doing well. So it was necessary for me to go open the school. It was the next phase. right? So when I leave that specific location and open up the school, I'm gone a year. Egos started getting out of control.
No, barbers got egos?
Yeah,
No, stop it, bro.
independent, right? So when I'm away, they know I'm away, right? It's kind of like when the boss man ain't around, people just do whatever. Everybody who's in a leadership position knows that, right? So barbers, because I was charging a high price at that point. When I left my shop, I was $65 a cut, and I had over 300 clients. I started passing them off to all of my team members, right? Because I was at the school, I couldn't do it. What ended up happening is I charged $100. I went from 65 to 100. I don't recommend that, but I was very calculated. I had 300 clients. I could only cut 10 people on a Saturday. You know what I mean? Because I was at the school. I had 10 people that was willing to pay that. Very calculated decision. Cool, it's done. $100 barber stuff is overrated, but okay, cool. Right? Then my barbers on my team saw me doing that and felt like they could do that. The Instagram thing was real heavy where barbers were know your worth, charge more, raise your price, live your life. All coming out of the pandemic, all that, PPP money was all in the marketplace. People were paying high tickets for haircuts.
Yo, that PPP money was different, bro. Like people felt like they was rich when they got that, right?
Yeah, that 2020, 2021, 2022. I opened my school February of 2023, right? So people started doing that. And all of a sudden, barbers that was 40, 50 in my shop were 75, 95, just price gauging because they saw people on Instagram doing it. So a year passes by, barbers are bickering back and forth. Shop managers like, yo, there's all this commotion going on. I come in on Saturdays, I feel the vibe. I feel the tension.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. I'm like, what is going on here? Now, as a booth rent shop owner, I guarantee you can identify with this. When barbers come to your shop, they come with nothing, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. When you get barbers out of school, they come with no clients, yes or no? Yes, right? So you give them intro rates. I've seen some barbershop booth renters or booth rent owners, first 2 weeks free, first week $50, then it goes up every month, stuff like that. What I did for years, I started barbers at $100, right? And it went up $25 a month until $250, $275, which was rent. So 6-7 months in, they hit full rent. Very generous, right? We had traffic. I was there at the time. I didn't truly see what my business, what it was until I left it in the hands of a bunch of independent booth renters and seeing very quickly how independent booth renters do not know how to build a business. Here's what they would do if they knew how to build a business. They'd go get a suite. The suites that came alive from the pandemic on have killed the booth rent model. I built booth rent models.
What do you mean by that? All right, because you said this to me before. You said that you believe what you just said. Suites have killed the booth rent model. What does that mean? So,
a booth rent shop owner, when you join that barbershop as a barber, you're responsible for your own clientele, yes or no? Yes. The only reason why you come there is because you don't have any clients. So as a booth rent barber to come rent a booth, you've really come to that shop to steal. Because as soon as you start making money, roughly $1,000 a week, you got eyes on a suite. All you're doing is seeing who is going to come to your spot so you can put your logo on the wall, draft your little LLC paperwork for $150 and say you started your own business. That's exactly what you're trying to do.
Yo, where Will go? I don't see my boy Will. He frozen on my end. Will froze? Hold up, my boy Will froze on us. Nah, Will, get back here. Where you at, bro? Where my boy Will at? Will's about to snap. Yo, guys, listen. He looks froze on my end, so we're waiting for him to get back. But what I will say is this: if you guys have questions, make sure you're asking questions, even if we don't answer them in real time. If we don't answer the questions in real time, we will make sure that we get to the questions during the live. All right. So make sure you're asking questions. And one thing I will say before Will gets back into what he was saying is, like they say, Will was just, they said it was just getting good. Make sure you guys are paying attention. Make sure you guys are taking notes. Make sure you guys are listening, because when it comes time to give away this low pro trimmer FX1, when it comes time to give it away, you're going to want to make sure you're giving yourself the best chances of being the person that gets picked to get it. So Will, are you back? Or you, because
I'm back. I don't know what happened. What happened?
They heard you was about to snap and they started hating. You start talking about the suites and them leaving the booth ready to go to the suites, and these sweet people must have called their people.
So what was the last thing I said? What was the last thing I said?
Right here, the owners ran in the room. We were talking about how you believe the suite have killed the booth rent barbershop.
The suites that came alive during the pandemic have killed the booth rent model barbershop. Like I said, I owned barbershops, booth rental model, since 2010. Wasn't popular then. You either worked at a commission shop or you rented a booth. Once the pandemic came and everybody wanted to be isolated 6 feet away from everyone, suites got real popular because people and social media came to prominence. Suites got popular because people was like, oh, I can attract my own clients, and my clients like privacy. I could charge a little bit more. Plus, they don't want to be around all these other barbers, right? So once that started happening, it started to get trendy. I'm no fool. I see that. I got barbers leaving my shop because they're like, oh, I got my clientele now, Stam. Thank you. You know what I mean? Appreciate everything. I want to do my own thing. That's cool. You know, I worked at schools and stuff. I was able to fill those spots. That was never an issue. But barbers don't know how to build.
Yeah.
They need walk-ins. Every complaint at every booth rent shop is not about the owner. It's because people aren't making money. When people are making money, they're not complaining about who's taking out the trash, who's sweeping the floor. You know what I'm saying? If there's walk-ins coming in, nobody's complaining. Every owner knows that, right? All that other stuff is technicalities and stuff because people broke and they don't want to say that, right? So when people started going to suites, the booth rent model is like, what's the point? If I'm going to rent a booth at your shop and I have to build all my own clients anyway, I might as well get my own.
Right. I mean, it makes
You're
sense.
An independent business owner. So it's killed that model. You know what I mean? There's some smaller towns, you know what I mean? People might not be on that, but in a major city like Atlanta, oh, they're definitely doing that. So I said, okay, I still was 90% full at my shops. But when I came back a year later from school, I got all my systems in place. Right now, the school is open and operating, and I'm here on live, right? So I have systems in place. I came back to cut some of my clients and, you know, tap in with my barbers. You know, at the end of the day, I'm the leader. So I have to make sure, you know, I'm communicating with everybody and helping people grow. You know, it's bigger than just income. You know what I mean? So I'm still impacting barbers on a regular. I come back to my shop and I call a shop meeting. And I'm like, hey, guys, what are the issues? What are the challenges going on? Like, what really is it? Like, talk to me. And they were like, man, my Fridays and Saturdays are busy, but I need more clients Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I said, so you need more leads? Yes. I went to the next person. I said, what's your issue? Yeah, I'm kind of like the same thing, man. My Wednesday and Thursday, man, I'm slow. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You need more leads? Yes. I go to the next person. They're like, yeah, I was doing my thing on social media, but I haven't been consistent lately. So I got to take ownership. That's my fault. I haven't been marketing myself. I'm like, okay, cool. I go to the next person. What's the issue with you? Yeah, I'm really not sure. Okay, cool. I go to the next person. And I went all the way around the room and everybody said they needed walk-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Now I left the shop. Everybody was busy. I came back a year later. Everybody needs walk-ins. What does that say without saying it? 9 barbers in there don't know how to get new leads is what it says.
Well, I thought
let's just call a spade a spade.
I thought like to get clientele, all you got to do is you post on social media, right? Ain't that all you supposed? You just do that and you post your best haircut on social media and then they come flooding in the door, right? You're your own boss.
That's exactly
right? That's how it works.
That's what barbers think. That's what barbers think, right? But when them pockets get light, it's the owner's fault. So I said, cool. So I came back. I was at the meeting. And I said, all right, listen, y'all, you need more leads. I'm back now. I got the school kind of on, you know what I mean? A little bit more of a structure, right? I don't have to be there as much. You know, I had to built all my own curriculum the first year, my own plans. There was a lot of homework involved, a lot of prep. You know what I mean? I got collected all my data. And so now I'm like, okay, I can start to maneuver. So I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to drive traffic. I left a bunch of traffic in here. You fumbled the bag. 65, 75, $85. Y'all don't know none of these boys on social media. They don't post. They don't know how to market effectively, because if they did, they would. It's not a knock on them. I don't have to call nobody by name. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Every barber is not the highlight reel on social media. Let's just call a spade a spade. It's no disrespect. Some people are good at attracting leads, some aren't. It's fair. It's part of the game. Some people are technicians, really good barbers. They're not great content creators. Everybody's got their lane, right? But everybody needed leads. So I said, okay, cool. I'm going to create that. And I said, now here's what I'm going to do. This was December 1st. I said, I'm going to put a system in place that attracts more leads. All of you who have been at this barbershop, rent will stay on booth rent. But because I'm spending more money, I haven't raised rent in 5 years. I'm going to raise the rent $50, which is one haircut.
Mm-hmm. That's a half a haircut because they charging $100 damn these days, right?
So I said, for everybody new that joins, I'm running a commission model, and I'm eventually going to transition once I have the data that proves this model correct. January 1st, I had another meeting, and I went over the new marketing strategy. And we were roughly at that time about 18 to 24 new leads a week. Now, people say, well, 18 to 24, that's not a lot, Will. These are brand new people who didn't know this business existed. You let that 18 to 24 people a week, 100 new people learn about your business a month. If you have any sort of average return ratio, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months later, the whole shop is full with clients, right? So I said, okay, it's January 1st. We had another meeting. I said, all of you have 30 days to let me know if you're going to, the increase in rent went up January 1st, $50. I was at $275. I went up to $325. Haircuts is $40, $45. It's like 7 to 8 haircuts a week. I said, by February 1st, you have to let me know if you're staying on or you're leaving. So they essentially got 60 days. They just got a 30-day notice.
Right.
They got a 30-day trial run because I was testing my strategy to see if it worked. So I gave myself 30 days to test the strategy. I gave them 30 days to make a decision. They got 60 days, not 30. As a leader, tough decisions have to be made. At that moment, during January, the slowest month of the year, barbers started putting their exit strategy together, and all of them in January left. Only one of them, and it was the chick of the group, looked me in my face and told me she couldn't handle the increase in rent. She wasn't a good marketer. She didn't want to go on commission. She made her own decision. So the other ones, I got text messages. A couple other guys, when they left in January, when the rent went up, they just said they was leaving because the rent went up. That was fair. You know what I mean? That's cool. The decision had to be made. I didn't hold no punches to nobody. I didn't criticize nobody. I shook their hand. Hey, man, wish you well.
How did that feel though, bro? Because like there are people who are tapped in right now.
Yeah.
And they have heard some of this commission talk. They've thought it through. And in their mind, they're feeling like, you know, I want to make this leap and I want to do this, but they're scared because there's that part of them that feels like they're going to lose everybody and have to start from scratch. Right. And you're explaining that's exactly what happened to you. So even though there was a part of you that knew that could happen, I know there was that other part of you that was like, hopefully these guys can just trust the vision. If they just believe in the vision and they can just trust me, I know they're going to be grateful for staying. So there's that part of you that was hoping they stayed, but then they left.
Yeah.
How did that feel, bro?
It felt crazy, right? And here's why I said leadership is hard, because I have quality relationships with these guys. Not a lot more, you know what I'm saying? Because once tough, hard decisions get made, relationships get strained. You know what I'm saying? They just are what they are, right? So I had to make a tough decision. The December 1st to January 1st was my proof of concept. I understood at that moment. I said, okay, I got it. Now I had to get comfortable with people who didn't see it to leave. It's tough being a leader. Casting vision, believing in your vision is what gets you paid. Having the courage to go after it when everybody else says no. My managers were shook, right? They're like, Stan, I don't know, bro. Like, are you sure? I said, I was the only one. My wife was scared. Oh my God, like $14,000 in revenue just left just like that. I'm like, yes, I believe it. And I know what I have right now can't sustain with me opening up the school. Barbers don't know how to build. They just don't, right? I'm talking about the lion's share. There's always some gems, right? And I'm like, if I'm at the school, I can't do it for them on a booth rent model. Something has to change.
But even with all of that, though, you just said that what was it, $14,000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did you stay sane through all of that?
Good.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Here's
the average
here's
person hears, okay, if I make this switch, I'm gonna potentially lose all of my people, right? And
mm-hmm.
that's just the surface level. And then there's the person that actually thinks it through a little bit and is like, okay, if I lose these people, it's going to be this amount of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if most people hear, okay, I could lose 14, 15 grand, right?
A month. Yeah.
A month. At that point, they may say, you know what, maybe I'll just run this booth rent thing a little bit longer, you know? So how did
Mm-hmm.
you stay like sane through all of that, knowing you were
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of a nice chunk of money like that?
Yeah. So I wanted to do it for years and I suffered from that same issue. I'm making money, I'm chilling, I'm cool, all is well. In due time, it'll all work. But I was always able to work at those shops, doing 140, $150,000 a year. So I was making money. And here's what most people don't realize: success make you stupid. Success make you stupid.
What do you
Because
mean?
I was
You go a little deeper.
well, when you are successful at something, you think it's always going to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And when things shift, you tend to ignore it because you've always done it that way and had success. You don't know
So
anything
you're
else.
saying like how with Blockbuster, right? When Netflix came out and
Mm-hmm.
Netflix wanted to sell to Blockbuster, and Blockbuster was like, nah, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
Blockbuster been dominating the market forever. And
Mm-hmm.
Netflix was on that new innovative, seeing the direction things were going. But because Blockbuster
Mm-hmm.
has so much success, they wasn't
Mm-hmm.
trying to change anything. And it made them
Yeah.
dumb to the point where now they're out of business. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because the pandemic shifted stuff, man. We're on Zoom and stuff now. Like we're
Yeah.
on YouTube right now, having a conference, you know what I mean, pretty much. And that wasn't going on 10 years ago, right? So we go to events, we see stuff that isn't updated and we're like, yo, they got to get with the times
Yeah.
or you get left behind. So you either change with it or you die from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're successful at doing something, you think it's always going to be like that. And
Yeah.
it wasn't for me until I got out of my shop and couldn't go there to really see what it was. It wasn't sellable. I couldn't, I didn't have no control. Like the thing, people want control until it gets out of control. Then they don't want control no more. They want to give it back to the owner. The people want to do their own thing until it don't go right. Then they want to pass the blame. It's like, no. So what I would tell the shop owner now is like, don't do booth rent. Let them people go and build on their own. Because all they're gonna do is come in your house, steal from you, and then leave and tell you thanks for nothing. I've had it happen to me time and time again. I just was a teacher. I worked at schools. I had a pipeline. I was able to recruit. So I was able to disguise the flaw for years. Then I went and built my own school. I could still disguise it and sell you BS. I'm just not willing to. I can lose booth renters and replace them. I own a school in the same city. I could do that. But here's what really made me change. Students get out of barber school. They have average skills. Anybody ever got out of barber school with average skills? That's pretty much a consensus, right? Can the average student who gets out of school go build a clientele in a booth rent shop right now without enormous amounts of help from the owner? 90% of them can't. They're young. 18 ain't like it was years ago. When I was 18, I was moving out my house. People are moving out their house now at 25, 26. The game is different now. It's different. So I needed somewhere for those people to go. I already have a relationship with them. They already want to, learn from me. They already want to learn a system. They need to go somewhere that leads can be generated for them because they need reps to build their skill. They get a lot of them at my school. We're doing 80 heads a week in 4 days. That's going to be 150 soon at the rate that we're going, right? They're going to get plenty of reps, but they don't know how to build. I don't know if you pay attention to this younger generation between 18 to 24. They don't like talking to people.
No,
they grew up talking behind the screen.
They're trying to
exactly
you, do some Snapchat, sending people.
Right.
Like my daughters do that. They send me the picture of the ceiling or something. I'm like,
yeah.
Send it back
my kids,
them. They're different.
My kids text me and we're in the same house.
Yeah, facts.
Like it's just the way it is now, right? So when you start looking at the next generation coming up, they can't grind it out like how we did. The landscape is shifting. I talk to my students. I'm in class with them every day. All of them are telling me, yo, Stan, man, I want to go to a commission shop. They have fear of public speaking. This is the generation that's 18 to 25. Isn't that going to be the next generation coming up?
Yeah.
You better believe it. So I'm getting and receiving all of this data organically. I'm not paying for research. It's right in front of my face every day at school.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, these people need somewhere to go. They need real help. So I said, okay, with all of those factors, once I found a lead generator, something that I can push a button and generate leads to my business on autopilot, thanks to my man, Vinnie Delon. If Vinny's on the chat.
Shout out to Vinny. I know
Shout
Vinny
out
was
to
here
Vinny,
earlier.
man. So I called Vinny because of one of your gym talks. Vinny has a commission barbershop. I'm no fool. He told me he's doing $1.7 million in revenue.
Yeah, make sure y'all go back and watch that gym
off
talk
11
we had
off of 11 barbers or 12 barbers in one shop. I said, Vinny, I called him. Through Marv. I said, yo, I watched your gym talk. I said, I have a question for you. 1.7 million. How many of those barbers make 6 figures? He said 8. I said, I have one more question. How are you generating leads? I didn't need leadership. I didn't need to know how to pick a location. I didn't need to know how to cut. I didn't need to know none of this other stuff. I said, how are you generating leads? He said, I have a mentorship program. I said, how much? He told me. I said, can I send you half today? He said, sure, Zelle me right now. I Zelled it to him on the spot. He showed it to me. I said, this is the most incredible thing I've seen. And he said, Will, I'm telling you. I said, okay, cool. I implemented everything quick, right away. I tested it from December. I talked to Vinny on November 28th. I implemented it on December 1st. I got my answer January 1st. I made a decision. And I gave everybody 30 days. February 1st, everything was installed. February 1st to April 14th is 2 months and a half, 10 weeks.
Shout out to Vinny, bro. We need to
30.
Everybody show Vinny love.
Vinny will tell you.
Vinny will tell you his flowers. Drop the flowers emoji. We gotta give Vinny his flowers.
Tell you right now, I'm telling you 100% facts, man. All I needed was a proof of concept that I can generate leads. I literally push a button from my school desk and generate leads. If any of my barbers are in the chat, they'll tell you it's real. Yeah. I keep a sheet at the shop. New people sign in on it so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
That was in that video I posted.
In the day and age with technology and some of these resources like we have, the social medias, the Googles, the Yelps, there's all these different systems that we know exist. And on top of that, there's systems we don't know exist, but there's systems that as long as we structure them right and we implement them the right
Mhm.
way, they will be effective, you
Right.
know. And at the end of the day, that's all we want is barbers
Yep.
is to make more
Mhm.
money. We want more clients. We want to make more money.
Here's what I love about it though, right? I was like, all right, I got the lead generation. Cool. Got everything. Everything runs through a POS system. Dope. We're good, right? So let me answer the last question, right? That everybody's like, yo, what's the commission? You're robbing barbers and all this stuff, right? Let's handle that one, right? So if you're fresh out of school or you're a new barber to a new city, and here's the thing: when you're a booth renter, you hire in your own city. Now I have a system. I can hire somebody from Chicago tomorrow and guarantee that they eat.
Mm-hmm.
And within 3 to 6 months, they can be making numbers that they weren't probably making where they are if they choose they want to move to Atlanta. Now you can move to me and work at a shop that's guaranteed to have flow for you. Here's the other thing I love about commission too. I used to have to hire barbers before the shop was ready because I only make money when booths are full. Now I can hire a barber on commission and let him build because I get a piece of everything that comes in my business that I am driving traffic to.
What I want you to speak on real quick is
Yeah.
this illusion we have as a culture of
Mhm.
barbers where we think for whatever reason that nobody wants to work for a commission-based shop. It's
Mhm.
a very common misconception that you'll hear from a
Mhm.
lot of people is like,
Mhm.
well, nobody wants to work for a commission, or I would never work for a
Mhm.
commission. And
Mhm.
I've always found it funny because when it's easy, I think, to fall into the trap
Yeah.
of thinking that people think that way, especially when you hear it a lot. But when you step outside of your world and you look and you see that there's thousands of these supercuts and thousands
Mhm.
of these
Mhm.
fantastic Sams and thousands of these
Mhm.
sports clips, and there's just so many of these different models, right? The great clips, and there's these businesses that have these barbers that work for salaries, right,
Yeah.
or for commission, and
Mhm.
there's literally thousands of them across the country.
Mhm.
So it
Mhm.
baffles me when you step outside of your own world and you see that. How can we think
Yeah.
that nobody
Yeah.
wants to work for salary or nobody wants
Salaries.
to work
Yeah.
for commission? You
Yeah.
know, so can you
Well,
speak to that a little bit? Where were you ever thinking
yeah,
for
yeah,
a
I
little bit
was a
that you
person.
would
I
be able
was
to
a
hire
person.
people to work for
I
commission?
I guarantee you there's footage out here that says I would have never worked for commission
Yes,
because I
right.
didn't
I'm
understand
pretty
it.
sure it's
But
on the
but
Marvin
yeah,
Bar I'm talking about, man.
it probably is, right? So here's why I felt that way though. And here's why I had to create something with commission that I would work in because I'm not going to sell you something I do not believe
Amen.
doesn't benefit for you and me. Great businesses create win-win scenarios. Here's what that looks like. Here's the old will. I don't want to work at a commission shop because yes, 50-50 is cool in the beginning when I cut that client. But when they return to me, why do I have to keep paying 50% when now they're coming back based on my merit, not based on you drawing the lead in? That's a
Fair.
fair
Yeah,
argument.
yeah, absolutely.
That was my argument.
Yeah.
So what I do now is I created a system that is a sliding scale 5 tier, right? So it goes like this. You come to my shop, you don't have any clientele, you fresh out of school. You need an opportunity. 50-50. As you start to grow your retention rate, meaning that you cut those people and 2 weeks later they come back to you. Over the course of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, as your clientele grows and your name starts ringing, you can now earn up to 60, 70, 75, and 80% of your own money. I still deserve 20% when you get to that level. You know why? Because I'm still sending you new leads to fill in your Monday, your Tuesday, and your Wednesday that 99% of barbers cannot.
Hold on
Now,
a second.
a person will
I
say
talk to my boy
20%.
Basio real quick. Hold on 1 second, Will.
Yeah.
Hold your thought. Don't lose it. All right.
Yeah.
Because Basio,
Mhm.
there was a time where I thought this way too, right? There was a time that I would never work for commission. In fact, when I came out of barber school, my idea was work for commission till I build my clientele and do my own thing, right? Most
Mhm.
barbers probably think that way, right?
Mhm.
But come on, Basio, we know that from a business standpoint, we're
Mhm.
not against putting out more money if we can make more money, right? So
Mhm.
with my mind frame now, the understanding I developed now, I would absolutely work for a commission-based shop if what I was getting in return for what I'm putting out was worth it. Right? Like, I remember I always share the story of the person. I was at this event one time and I sat at a table and we had two barbers that were sitting next to me. And long story short, one of them was working booth rent, one of them was working commission. The booth rent person or the commission person said, "Do you think I'm paying too much, paying $500 a week?" And the booth rent person automatically said, "Hell yeah, you're getting robbed." Right? And older, younger, new to the industry Marv would have said the same thing. Like, yeah, you're paying too much, you're getting robbed. But at that time I had evolved a little bit. So my question was, well, what are you getting for that? Right. And he explained everything he was getting, all the supplies. The owner actually paid for his ticket to come to the event and all of that. And at that time, he told me he was making like $2,500 a week. And so he's paying $500 a week and he was getting $2,000 in profit. He was making $2,000. Whereas the booth rent person was paying like $150 a week in booth rent, but they weren't getting under supplies. They were responsible for everything, responsible for all of the marketing. They paid for themselves to come to the event. And that person was making like $1,000 a week. So the person was paying way more in commission than the booth rent person, but they were making double what they were making per week and they were getting more value from it. So with all of that being said, yeah, of course, when I was younger and newer as a barber, I would have heard the commission thing and I've heard, 40%, 50% or whatever. And I'd have been like, hell no. But knowing what I know now, that's why I try to have these gem talks with Will and I try to have some of this dialogue, because what I want us to be able to do, especially earlier on, is rather than just rule something out because we hear a percentage split or a term, instead of just ruling it out. No, let's dig a little further deeper into it. Like working at a commission-based shop that Vinnie is running or that Will is running or somebody's, barber guru Joe is running is probably going to be better for my career than working at, Joey's trap spot fades for $125 a week. And I just want barbers to at least explore some of those options.
Well, here's the thing, right? I used to think just like I used to think just like Chris Bossio, right? I used to think just like that, right? And so I understand that. But it's like if you take a shop now, right, in the city of Atlanta, the average rent rate is like 300 plus, right? By the time you add in the cost to market yourself as well, you're easily at $500 a week. Here's how. You're paying Google ad spend. You're spending time on social media, creating content, editing videos. All of that is opportunity costs. And you know what a commission model does for you? You're basically paying the owner to attract you leads. That's like paying a marketing company. That's paying somebody to do your digital marketing. That's paying somebody to do all that so you can focus on spinning that chair. So when we try to do all of the responsibilities ourselves, we can only get so far. It's something I didn't understand. I tell people, man, when I first got into business, that's why I said success make you stupid. Because when I barely graduated high school. I went to barber schools and never finished. It took me a couple of times to pass the test. I read and learned everything on my own, right? I didn't have no great training, no mentors, none of that stuff. I had to get it out the mud. So I'm speaking from raw, real experience. This is not something crazy. But when you're doing all of those responsibilities, they cost you. It may not be a dollar amount, but they cost you other things. Right. So if you could easily just pay somebody to attract you leads, so all you got to do is work on being efficient cutting, it has its benefits. And when you're somebody who is not a marketer, there's different personality types. There are some people who can get it out the mud and do it their own way. Chris Bossio is definitely one of those people. But Chris also knows 9 out of 10 people are not the Chris Bossio type.
Yeah.
And he's not going to deny that. You're always going to have the exception to the rule. But you can't build a business on exceptions to the rule. One of the greatest business lessons I learned was you have 100%. You take the top 10% and you remove them out. You take the bottom 10% and you remove them out. And you serve the 80%. Most barbers, every barbershop owner can speak to this. No barbershop owner that runs booth rent that has 10 barbers in there, 10 barber chairs in there, you got 1 out of 10 that is a cold-blooded hitter. You ain't got 6 or 7. And if you got 4 or 5, that those are the only 4 or 5 you got in there. That's just the law of averages. The Pareto Principle, the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people do 20% of the work, and 20% of the people do 80% of the work. That's numbers. That's undeniable, and no matter what industry you're talking about. So we're not, this is not just some fairy tale type of stuff. This is real stuff. 80% of the people do 20% of the work. 20% of the people do the 80% of the work. So
Let
if
me
you got
ask you
10,
something. So for the
yes.
people who are tapped in, right, and they're like,
Mhm.
all right, I hear what you're saying, but they're still leaning towards not working for commission, right?
Yep.
But there's a part of them that's like, okay, you know what Will is saying does make sense, and I
Mhm.
do understand it, but I still wouldn't do it. What would you say for them to look for in a shop or in an owner to
Mhm.
to make them understand that it would be worth it to work for that commission-based shop? Like, what would the shop need to provide? Maybe what would the percentages look like? You know, what would the leadership look like for them to get the most out of working in a commission-based shop? Because just like there's bad booth rent owners, there are
Mhm.
bad
Mhm.
commission owners. There are commission
Mhm.
owners that basically operate like booth rent, but then want to
Mhm.
charge you an arm and leg and not really do
Mhm.
much. You're just
Mhm.
responsible for everything, right? So
It
maybe
it needs
they
to
are
be
trying to
this
avoid that
this
experience. So what should they look for in an
yeah.
owner and in a business?
So what you want is earning potential. That's what you want, number 1, right? So a sliding scale that goes from 50% to 80% based on your productivity level is an attractive thing
So
because
sliding
you don't
scale, meaning that
sliding scale. So you come
based on
in,
how much
okay,
cutting you do, the percentage will
how much
change.
revenue you generate, right? So
Okay.
let's just for an example, right? Let's just say 50%. So let's just say you're on 50-50 until you hit 25 haircuts at $40. That's just the average number, right?
Yeah.
25 haircuts at $40 is $1,000, right? Once you do $1,000 in services, now you're on 60%.
Hmm.
And just to keep the math simple, once you do another 10 haircuts or 12 haircuts at $40, you make another, now you're at 1,500. So you're at 25, now you're at 37. Once you do 37 haircuts at $40, now you can get to 70%, right?
Hmm.
You done made 1,500, 1,600, whatever, you're getting 70% of your money. Once you
Hmm.
get over 2,000, which is like almost 50 haircuts, right? 50 haircuts at $40, which is 10 haircuts a day, 5 days a week. Now you're at 75% of your money. And then if you make over $2,500, right? Average numbers, right? You make over 2,500, now you're getting 80%. So if you made $2,500 or $2,600 and you paid 20% of that, you paid about $450, $500 in commission, but you walked away with $2,100. Now, if the average booth rent is 300 to 350, that's almost the same thing, and you didn't have to market yourself not one bit. You paid an extra $150. Do you think if you spent ads on social media, if you spent money on, Google, or spending time going out, passing out cards, or marketing yourself, or having your home, paying your homeboy to come hold the camera for you, or all this, stuff that you got to do, editing time, softwares, and all that to do all that, does that cost you $150 a week? If not, it's close.
Hmm.
But you don't have to do any of that, and you still get your money. So, I mean, we can go all day. Now, if you're
So you
somebody who pays
basically
100,
so maybe an idea, right, is that
mm-hmm,
to approach the owner and
mm-hmm,
ask the question, what am I responsible for,
or
right?
yeah,
To a degree. And if the owner can answer it by saying, show up to work and cut hair, right? If
mm-hmm,
you show up to work and you cutting hair all day and you're
mm-hmm,
making good money, then you might be in a good situation. Whereas if you are talking to the commission-based owner and they're telling you
mm-hmm,
the percentage, but you're still responsible, they're expecting you to do all of this stuff that you normally be doing on booth rent
mm-hmm,
anyway, then maybe that's not the owner you want to work for, right? As
yeah,
far as owners, right? Let me ask you
yeah,
this too. As far as somebody that wants to do a commission-based shop, maybe they're hearing what you're saying and they like that. They're
mm-hmm,
like, yo,
mm-hmm,
that sliding scale stuff is cool. I never thought about that. I didn't really understand how that works, but now I do. So now they're
mm-hmm,
thinking, okay, I would like to do commission and I would like to have a sliding scale, but maybe there's
mm-hmm.
that part of them that's confused as to how do you implement that, right? Like, how are they going to implement knowing that if somebody does this amount of haircuts, they get this percentage or this amount? What, is there a certain system that they should use,
Yeah,
like an operating
I would
system? Or
recommend. I would recommend. Yeah, I would recommend using Vagaro.
okay, and that's
I'm
like
not sure if you're
that's a
familiar with that.
software, like a
Yeah, it's
acquire
a
a Booksy.
software. Yeah,
Okay.
Booksy, something like that, right? So it's Vagaro, but they do all your reporting, and you can put all of your scales in it to where you push a button and it prints out what you're supposed to pay.
Gotcha.
It's seamless. It's like a personal assistant, and then it tracks return ratio. It tracks new client intake flow. It tracks all that. It tracks all that stuff. So then you push a button and you can see. So now when you're helping your team, right? Because we I don't care who model you like, right? Everybody talks about tracking your finances, tracking your clientele, tracking your growth rates. Now you just push a button and pull it up. So if you're in a shop, and as an owner, this is really good too, because here's why. As an owner, right, you got this guy, he's doing 20 new leads a week. Let's just say that, right? But if his return rate is 10%, he now may need to get fired because he's getting leads and they're not making them count. So he's like a hole in your boat. But you have real data. When you're on booth rent, you just hope it gets better. Oh, man, I'm just going to work with him, man. It's going to be all good. It's just not, it's just not, you don't have any data to back up your claims, And then for the barber, you want to know your results, where you need to get better at. Most barbers don't even know how long they take on a haircut. You need to know every aspect of your business. The data delivers. Most of us don't have it. We don't know what we got. You got to have your numbers. So now I'm able to track all that. It's been about what, two months, where I'm tracking all that, but I'm seeing the new leads coming in. And I'm like, over time, I'll come back 6-8 months from now and we'll be having a different conversation with a bunch of receipts. But I'm talking about the transition process now. I don't want to talk about it after it's been wildly successful. I want to talk about it now. Get this on tape, because when it works, then I'm going to come back with the receipts and be like, yo, he did say that.
So a question for you, right? Because you are in a different spot than most of us, right? And when I say that, what I mean is you own a school, right? Which, congratulations, you just had the first graduating class, right? Everybody dropped some clapping hands, some flowers. Will opened his school a little over a year ago, and he just had his first graduating class. That's huge, huge news. I'm proud of you, bro.
I appreciate that, man. It took a lot of work, man.
Hard. I've seen it from when it was an empty vessel. When I came down, the lights wasn't working, and you was mad about it. So to see how far you've already taken it.
Funny story with that. I think funny story with that. Either my electricians was putting electrical stuff together, or I forgot to pay the electric bill.
Hey, either way, the lights wasn't on.
I forgot.
He was in there.
I
had the phone with the light on. I had to do this. I was walking around like this, right? Trying to see what's up. But to see where you've taken it, bro, it's dope. It's inspiring, and I'm super proud of you. But I say all that to say you have a school, right? So when it comes to you opening shops, whether that's commission, booth rent, salary, whatever route you go, you've actually created a system where you can, you build the barbers, license them up, and then you can put them in your shops. That's dope. But most of us don't have that. So, there are barbers on here that may be considering making that shift to commission, and they are scared to lose all of their barbers. And they're scared because they don't know how in the hell they're going to find new barbers. They might be thinking, well, it's easy for you to say, well, you own Profresh Academy. You got a school, you can get barbers from there. How am I supposed to get barbers? Nobody wants to, everybody wants to open their own suite as it is, and nobody wants to do commission. Where am I going to find these barbers? So what would you say to that person? How would you go about acquiring barbers if you were in their shoes?
That's a very valid point, right? Because that is the challenge. It doesn't matter where you are, right? People are going to do what they want to do. There's going to be people that graduate from my school that say, I want to go get a suite. I'm going to let them go do that. I'm not forcing nobody against their will, right? You have to do, people are going to do what they do. Now, to make it easier on yourself, no matter what city you're in, there's got to be some type of barber school, right? Something. You may want to go build a connection there because you need a pipeline. Every business in the world has a pipeline. Every business in the world.
So how would you
has-
build that connection with that school? Let's say you
I
are
go
at a
serve.
school in the
I go
area.
serve. Go teach what you know.
Mhm.
Right. Go volunteer. Go teach what you know. Offer some sort of value. Sometimes you can just pay. Right. Schools, especially some of them that are starting out, they need help.
Mhm.
You can pay for access to recruiting. You know, all that stuff is negotiable. That's business. That stuff happens in all businesses, right? But there's also, you can go serve, you can go teach, you can go help out, provide some sort of value. You always lead with value, because oftentimes you get more in return when you do it that way. So you go lead with value, go serve, go help, teach at a school. I'm sure you probably graduated from one, right? Probably got some school that you went to. As long as it didn't end bad, you
Bro,
can
my
give back
school is
to.
closed down,
Mine
man.
too. My
They
two
done
are
went and
too,
did some
man.
funny business, and they got closed
Yeah,
down, bro. I
man.
couldn't even go save them if I wanted to. They're gone
Too, yeah.
forever.
Is there any barber school in your area?
So there's a Paul
Uh-huh.
Mitchell cosmetology that has a barbering program, but that's the only one in my area.
Close.
But it's within driving distance, right? And I've
Yeah.
actually went there a handful of times to serve myself, to do classes, and I built the
Stuff like
connection. I
that.
haven't been
And build.
there in a while, but
Yeah.
I once did that,
You're
exactly what you're saying.
yeah, you're gonna have to participate to some degree in your own rescue.
Yeah.
Even if you have, like, if there's nothing there, you may have to do something private, where you start creating that interest. You got to participate in your own rescue. You're not just gonna put out a post on social media and people gonna come.
Yeah.
Now, if you start showing people results of money being made, you'll always get people's attention.
Yeah.
On booth rent, that's gonna be hard to do, because barbers not gonna want to share their numbers with you. And if they making a bunch of money, they looking at a suite, because they want to get out from underneath your shadow and do their own thing, and do they, you know what I mean? They seen a dude on social media do it, so now they want to do it.
Let's
So
talk about that real
that's what
quick,
happened to.
because
Yeah.
you made a comment on
Mm-hmm.
one of the previous Gem Talks.
Yeah.
You made some people mad, Will.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. I
making
did.
people mad
I still
sometimes.
believe that, though. I still believe that too.
You made a statement, and I'm not sure if you know a statement I'm gonna say, but the statement that you made, you
Mhm.
said that people go to suites to die,
Quit.
to quit.
Yes.
People go to suites to quit.
Yes, they do.
The question I want to ask you is, which you just answered, but do you still believe that? And
Mhm.
just how do you feel that statement has aged? Because for me, from the outside looking in, once you said it in the way you said it, it was
Mhm.
in alignment with exactly what I believe too, right?
Mhm.
And then even not saying it the way you said it, at the time when we were discussing that, having some vision, looking
Mhm.
further into the distance, for me, I've always felt like the sweet thing for most people is a
Mhm.
fad, right?
Yeah.
So even in the time of us talking about it, people may look at what we were saying and think like, yeah, y'all are tripping. We weren't just living in the moment. We were speaking from
Mhm.
the future, seeing what was going to
Mhm.
occur. So
Mhm.
my question is, how do you feel like that statement you made has aged? Do you feel like people still go to suites to quit? And do you feel like suites are more of a fad? Are they dying out? People running back to shops? What are some of your thoughts?
Well, it's so interesting, right? Because I do feel like they go there to quit. I do. It's easy to cut the lights off and walk out on yourself. That walk of shame, walking out and just saying, "Yo, I'm giving this up, going to get a job." That's tough. People don't want to do that. They'll say, "Oh, I'm leveling up. I'm going to get a suite," and then they do it,
Mm-hmm.
because it's easy to quit on you. You know what I mean? In front of nobody, right? And I've talked to people who own, like, who had suites, right? They're back outside. They just opened up a barbershop. They were in a suite for years. And he came to my school. He told me, he said, "Yo, Stan, man," he said, "the suites ain't for everybody." He said, "It was me and one other guy in there. Nobody else made it more than 6 months."
Mm.
And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "It ain't all that people make it seem." And I said, "I knew that, but when I said it, I was the bad guy because it was trendy." Right. And then here's the thing, people, and here's how they disguise it. They say, "No, I had to go get a suite because a suite taught me how to run my own business. Now I got a shop." So they call it like starting their own business. And then going from a suite to a barbershop is expansion. It's like a mind trick. You know what I'm saying? You know how people say things they really don't mean. They got to dress it up because they know they was wrong, and admitting you wrong is hard. And the argument I always had was this: you have two types of business owners. You have one person who owns the business, meaning it makes money even if he's not there or she's not there. The other one is owned by the business, meaning it only generates revenue when they're operating it. If you are owned by your business, that's not real business ownership. You own some paperwork and you own some tax deductions, but you don't actually really own a business. So long term, that's just not a great option, because as you get older, you still have to work like you 20, but now you 50. It's not the same. The paperwork might say it's the same, but the lifestyle does not. And once people come to grips with that and they have a better option, of course they choose it. They just are too stubborn to admit it in front of people who say you're doing that because you're eventually going to quit. And some people have went and did that and they've quit. I know countless ones that did. And my barbers, they always laugh at me because I'm like, yo, when people go get sweets, eventually they go back to driving trucks. And there's been 4 or 5 cases where they do that. And they always laugh, but they're like, oh, Stan, you be right when you say that. Now, I know people who are in suites and they've been in one for 10 years. They're going to swear it's not that way. But check back with me again in 10 years and let's just see where we at.
Okay, so then the question is, because I seen, I think Basio said it in the chat, and I think it's a good point to speak to too. If that's the case, if suites are where people go to quit, and they either quit the whole industry or they go and they try to do their own thing, and then they're like, you know what, I'm gonna just go back to the shop. His question is, if that's the case, then why would you say that you feel booth rent is dead? Because if people are going to leave, they're going to go work at the suite, and maybe it's not going to be what they thought it was. Now they're going to head back to the shop. Wouldn't that mean that booth rent isn't necessarily dead?
Well, it's dead in this sense. People are going to go try that suite, and you're going to have to keep replacing those people.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to keep them, because and then even when they come back on booth rent, if they can't build, they're going to quit eventually anyway. They're only coming to the booth rent model to steal. They're not coming to stay a long time. Now, the same scenario happens in commission. People come just to build a little clientele and then they go. But at least it's a fair exchange at that point.
Break down what you mean by that.
So if you come in on commission and you build up clientele for 2 to 3 years, it's a fair exchange, whether it's 50-50, 60-40. It's a much more fair exchange than me giving you an intro rate.
So what you're saying is you mean a fair exchange by, okay, if you come work in my shop and I run a commission-based shop, and you come in and I'm supplying you business, yes, you're making money, but I'm also making money as well, as I should, because I helped provide
attract those leads for you.
And if you're building your clientele and you're making more and more money, I'm also making more and more money because I'm helping you provide. I'm helping provide these leads for you. So it's a fair exchange where you're making more money, I'm making more money. Whereas in booth rent, you feel like if you come to my shop, you pay me as a booth rent owner. Now I'm doing the marketing or whatever. Let's say I'm a booth rent shop owner that's doing all this stuff, and I'm acquiring leads for you. You're making more money, but I'm not, because you're set on your set booth rent. So in your mind, from your perspective, you don't feel that's a fair exchange. I'm doing all this work to help provide customers, and I'm not making any more money. I mean, is that what you're saying?
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. A new person that comes in on booth rent, what is an average intro rate? Or is it just 300 day one for the brand new person? What is it? I would like to know. You can ask the chat.
Yeah, chat. What do you think?
When you bring a new barber in, first day there, what is their rent at the end of the week? What is it? I want to know, what is it?
Let's see. I don't see anybody saying anything.
If there's any booth rent shop owners, let me know what it is. Is it free for 2 weeks? 100, 125?
Yeah, I've definitely heard the free for 2 weeks, free for a month. Right, let's see what some
free.
This was 100 a
250 day one.
125, 250 a week, 75.
First week free.
Yeah. So that seems to be the common thing.
Two months. I see 2 months free here, 2 months free, a month free. Right. Okay. Right. So they come 2 months free, build up some clientele, they leave. Let's say they're there 6 months, 10 months. If the first 2 months is free, what's month 3 and 4? 100? a week, 150. If it's commission, you make money day one. So even if you do come to my shop and say, yo, Stan, I'm coming here to learn your system for 6 months and build me up some clientele. I need the reps so I can work on my skill set. And then I'm out. I will still hire you because I'm going to make money the entire time you're doing that. And it'll be a fair exchange. And you have your strategy is cool. But I used to do people $50 your first week. After 4 weeks, it go to 100. After another 4 weeks, it go to 150. Another 4 weeks, it go to 200. And another 4 weeks, it go to 250. By the time barbers got to 250, they built up all this clientele from my shops are in good locations. And then, all right, Stan, I'm going to get a suite, bro. Thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate the love. I may have taught them how to cut during that time. I may have done some one-on-ones with them, showing them love. As soon as they got stable enough, they was gone.
Yeah, and I think one of the misconceptions in our industry that I've learned through experience of just, like I have my own personal experience, but traveling the country and speaking to thousands of barbers and shop owners and just been in the trenches, really in the trenches as an influencer. But the one misconception I think we have in our industry is that if you hire barbers booth rent versus commission, that you're going to keep them barbers longer. Like you're going to stay longer because they're on booth rent than they will be on commission. And what I've found, at least in my anecdotal experience of thousands and thousands of barbers and shop owners, is that there's just turnover rate in the barber industry.
Yeah,
so whether it's commission based or booth rent, eventually barbers get to a point where, let's say they're on booth rent, they get to a point where they're pretty steady, happy with their money they're making. Now it's not as busy as they would like it to be. And they start thinking, why am I paying this person? When I could just, take one of y'all and we can go and open our own shop and we end up leaving anyway.
I just seen a comment
where barbers really, or shop owners, barbers that want to become shop owners believe that they're going to retain people longer if they have them on booth rent. And I can tell you, bro, that it's not the case. It 100% is not the case.
I want to address a comment I just saw from Tyson Lee. He says, Will, didn't you say I would never open a commission shop because I never worked commission? Yes, I did say that. That is accurate.
I think he said it on a Pop Barbers podcast or Gym Talk.
Yeah, exactly. With new information, I have changed my mind. I reserve.
Hold up.
Yes.
You can change your mind?
Yes, indeed.
Wait, hold on. No. You're supposed listen, Will. If you thought a certain way, even if you get new information, you're always supposed to think that way. You said.
Yeah, I did say that.
I think that's a crazy
I'm not.
We think
and that is true.
Not allowed
that's
to change
true.
your mind.
I never
people to shop all the time.
I never worked in a commission
like this before, and now
I never worked in a commission model.
I got new information. Of course, I think different.
Yeah, I never worked in a commission model. I never did. I opened my first shop at 23. I worked in booth rent 250 back in like 2008. I was fired and I opened up my own shop.
Like this, right?
It's the only business model I knew. It's the only business model I knew, right? So I was successful at it. Made 3 shops, right? Debt free, built the schools, still debt free. I don't owe nobody nothing, right? I had success doing it. I'm just a forward thinker. And I see the trends, at least in the Atlanta marketplace. I'm not everywhere, right? And I know what is going, like Atlanta rent is through the roof. 5 years ago, you could get a house for $250,000. You can't buy one in Atlanta now that's in a decent shape for less than $500,000. Real estate, commercial real estate is through the roof. There is no more $1,500 rent shops, $2,000 rent, $2,500 rent. You're $4,000 or $5,000 a month in rent easily, no matter where you go. Sometimes even higher than that. You're going to trust that to some booth rent where a person can just walk out at any given time?
Bro, you can change your mind. I need to let these people know this. Listen, guys, don't be the person that thinks you can't change your mind. If you learn something, if you are given new information and you now see things differently, it is okay to change your mind. You will have people that will call you a hypocrite. You will have people that will say, but you said, what you said and what I challenge you to do and encourage you to do is to be that person that, just like what Will just did. Yes, I said that. It's the same thing I find myself doing a lot in the shop. I'm a curious person. I ask a lot of questions. I've changed my mind on so many things. And when I've been called out on it, I say, yes, I changed my mind. I got new information. Don't be the fool that clings on to a way of thinking that you know is wrong because you got new information, but you cling on to that thinking because you don't want somebody to look at you like, well, you said, well, you're a hypocrite. No, bro, it is okay to change your mind, and don't let anybody ever let you feel like you can't change your mind, especially when you learn something new. You know what I'm saying?
And I just
I had to get
gave the
that out,
why.
Will. I
Yeah,
feel passionate
man,
about that shit.
I
People
get it,
drive me
yo.
crazy with that.
My thing is this: I just gave you an hour discussion on why I changed my mind. I tell my students this: if I don't give you the why, it's a lie. I don't have no problem
DJ Cutters, I'm
admitting I'm
changing my
wrong.
mind right now. Will you
And I'm
wild?
like,
Imagine a man
yo,
changing his
and
mind right
and
now.
I'm speaking my truth. You know, I'm gonna stand on what I say all the time. I don't care who disagrees, right? And I'll give you my why. I'll state my case, and I go just like I did with booth rent. When people were like, "Yo, commission," I said, "No, I don't want to. I never worked in the commission. That ain't something I'm gonna do." But when I left my school, I left to open up my school, and I wasn't there, and I saw what happened. And when I came back and was doing my investigation on what the problems were, when I left the shop full, I said, wait a minute now. No, hold on. Change was necessary. Change is growth, right? I'm not in the barbershop 5 days a week no more. I'm in the barbershop 2 days a week, 3 days a week no more. I can't do that like that anymore. I'm at the school, right? I'm doing something different now, right? People need opportunity. I went and I built shops, commission shop. I'm at school. You know, I launched a foundation. I'm gonna be raising money, giving away money for people to go to barber school. Like I'm creating real impact, doing real business, right? This is not just, a weekend vibe for me. I'm changing people's lives. I can't be there like I once was. I had to adopt my business model to make sense. I mean, I just sold out a barber school. In May, I will be sold out. I'm taking applications. I think I got 2 spots left. But the projection, this is $12,000 a
Y'all
year.
better drop some claps in the chat. Y'all better stop playing.
$12,000 a
That's
year to
dope.
go to barber school with no financial aid 15 months in.
That's dope.
That's not easy to do. Research says 80% of beauty schools would close if they didn't have financial aid. I spent a lot of my time and resources there, right? So I had to change the business model. Everybody got to do what worked for them. Each market is a little bit different. Commission is in an Atlanta marketplace is not, the thing, right? People are like, whoa, Stan, hold up, man. I'm rocking the boat. It's fine. I have a system I believe in, and I don't mind doing the work to prove myself right.
Let me ask you a question, bro. Do you
Yes.
think that most barbershop owners that operate a booth rent model operate out of fear? Now, before you even answer that, guys, just to be clear, I do booth rent. There's 6 of us. I do booth rent. Just to be very clear, I have a team that I've had for years, and I feel like an anomaly scenario. That's why I don't speak on it a lot. The barbers that work for me are literally family, literally my younger cousin, people that I went to school with and grew up with. My one barber actually is the person who gave me my first job. The other 2 barbers were once clients of mine, right? So I have such an anomaly situation. I do booth rent. So be clear, right? But my question is to Will, because I can share even some of my thoughts on it after. I'm sure I'm just going to agree with whatever you say because we see things a lot, similar. But do you think most shop owners who run booth rent operate out of fear of losing barbers, not knowing how to acquire new barbers, avoiding potential conflict or confrontation when discussing raising booth rent or switching the commission? Do you think they operate from a fear standpoint?
I think fear and ignorance.
What do you mean?
I want to give them credit first. They're doing the best they know how. That's all barbers is trying to do, especially shop owners. They're doing the best they can. The problem becomes is when they don't have enough humility to learn something new and implement. So we try to imitate and live like we got it all together. When I used to hear you say this a lot more, we're trying to make it seem like we got it all together when everybody's really figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just man enough to come on here and say, yo, I did say that, but I know better now. I'm also willing to do better. I made the change with 90% of my shops full. My barbers, they can validate that. Right? I have barbers on my team that make 6 figures. They know that. Like they've been around for a while. I've helped barbers where all my booth rent shops who now own their own barbershops. It's a couple of them. It's more than I think it's 3, right? Not suites, barbershops. So I have enough of a resume building it to tell you what I know. I'm not faking for the gram. This is real stuff. I do believe barbers, owners do operate with a little bit of fear because when they know when they lose a barber, they don't have a replacement. People only tolerate the BS from booth renters when they don't have a replacement on hand. If they did, they would implement more rules and more structure, guaranteed.
Mm.
If they don't have replacements, they deal with BS and we justify it.
Right,
Because
and
we
I think
know
that's
we
what a
don't have
lot
a
of
replacement.
shop owners do.
Yeah.
They justify because they'll frame it as, well, I care
Yeah.
about my people. I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
greedy. I don't want to rob them.
Yeah.
And they paint this picture to themselves to make themselves feel good about it. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
so many of them deep down inside would do
Mm-hmm.
things so much differently if they had the
Differently, if they
confidence to
could.
know that they were going to be all right regardless. And if y'all ain't with it,
Well,
y'all ain't with it. We'll start from the bottom up.
yeah, yes and no, right? Because you got to have strategy. You
Facts.
can't just do it and know like, all right, I just let them go. It's gonna be all right. Because that don't always work. But
That can be very bad.
if you had replacements, you would definitely do it.
Mm.
Because it would make your business better. So when people tolerate BS from barbers, it gets worse, right? But they only do it because they don't have a replacement. Because if they did, they wouldn't do it. Right? It's just like your lady, right? You may get on her nerves, she may hate your guts, but she ain't going nowhere if she ain't got a better option. Dudes the same way. Just is what it is. If it's toxic, they be like, "Oh, I love you. That's why I'm not going nowhere." No, you just ain't found a better option. If it's toxic, if it's great, it's great. I get it, but people do that. Barbers are at your shop right now. If they had a better option, they're leaving. All I'm saying is just make it fair from the jump. Make it a win-win from the beginning. Just don't play yourself, man. I played myself for years, and I'm debt free. I made a bunch of money. You know what I mean? Worth a bunch of money. I don't have no issues. Own multiple real estate properties across different states. Own my own house. My cars are paid off. I'm cool, bro. I don't need your money. Right? But that also gives me margin to make grown man decisions. And I can stand on business because I don't have to crumble like a coward. Knowing what I know is right, I make the decision and let people make their decisions and move on.
So Basio
Most
said
people got
most
a
shop
coward way.
owners
Yeah.
have no business operating a commission shop. They wouldn't serve their barbers well enough. And I agree. I actually
I
think
agree
that
with that too.
I think most people
Yeah.
shouldn't even own shops, period, because
Period. Yeah.
so many of them get into owning shops for the wrong reasons, I feel like.
Yeah.
And when I say wrong reasons, I think it's all about money to them, right? And it's less
Yeah, it
about
is. Yep.
serving, it's all about money. So when
Yeah.
he says most shop owners have no business operating commission shop, I
Mhm.
can agree with that. So my question to
I
you would
do.
then
I agree
be,
with that too.
what let's say somebody on here is going to start
Mhm.
out and open the commission shop or switch to booth rent
Mhm.
commission. What are some of the
Mhm.
things you feel like they need to learn and do in order to be of the best service to their people? What is the most
Okay.
important
So
aspects of all of that?
so I'll sum it up in like 3 things, right? So you're gonna need, if you're gonna open up a shop, whether you open commission, booth rent, whatever, you're gonna need to know how are you gonna generate leads. You have to have a lead generator,
And when you
whether you're
say leads,
using
just so
Google.
to clarify, because some
Yeah,
people might be confused at what you're talking about. When he's
yeah.
saying leads, he means new customers into
New
the
customers
business.
coming into the business, right? New customer acquisition is the lifeblood of any business, right? So you need a lead generator. You're gonna have to have that, right? You're gonna have to have location, right? Location, it's been the number one thing since the beginning of time. Location does matter. If people can't find you, they're not coming. Parking becomes an issue. Location does matter. Major city, disposable income in the area, all of that stuff does matter. So location, lead generation, and then you have to grow as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that can't be taught in a day, right? You're going to have to go through some things, learn through some experiences, watch other leaders, get good at quality decision making, having sound principles, like building your character. That's something that you have to build. You can't buy leadership. You could
Mm-hmm.
buy a location. You could buy leads. You can't buy quality leadership. So, and then you're going to have to offer some sort of training, whether you bring educators in to train your people, because it's like a software update, right? Teams need to be updated, right? Skills need to grow, mindsets, marketing, stuff like that. Like I brought Marv into my shops and stuff to teach my guys, different marketing things they could do to generate viewership. Because ultimately, if you can convert views into leads, everybody wins. So location, lead generation, and becoming a better leader. Those three things, you got to have a plan for those three things when you build your shop. Obviously, your layout and all that, you're going to do what you want to do. But those three things, off the top of my head, that's what I would
Yeah,
start there.
and to add to that, which I know you'll agree with as well, is I think mentorship is key too, especially in
Yeah.
a time now where we have abilities to connect with people in ways that we couldn't in the past, right? Like if you
Mhm.
were trying to find a mentor before all of this digital world that exists, it could be a lot more challenging. But now we have this digital landscape where we can connect with people who have been successful on the path that we're traveling on. So I think everything you said, 100% agree with. And,
Mhm.
when it comes to being a great leader, which is part of what you said, I think
Mhm.
mentorship is key, and just finding that person
Mhm.
that can help guide you, and then trusting them, and operating on faith,
Mhm.
and it, being being trusting to the point where even when they're
Mhm.
telling you do things that don't make sense and don't feel right, that you do
Mhm.
them. Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we're talking ethically and morally, that's a different conversation. But when I'm
Mhm.
talking about doing different things, implementing different systems, and going
Mhm.
about things in certain ways, when you
Mhm.
don't know what you don't know, sometimes the right advice will sound wrong or will feel wrong,
Mhm.
so you
Mhm.
might hire a mentor or be in a conversation with somebody that's trying to help you, and because
Mhm.
you ain't there yet, what they're saying don't sound right. So
Right.
if you do bring on
Yeah.
a mentor, let's say it was a Vinny, right, or a
Mhm.
Will, or
Mhm.
somebody that's been
Mhm.
successful on this path, Joe, barber guru,
Mhm.
Chris Basio,
Mhm.
when they
Mhm.
telling you what to do that shit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. And that's, like I said, I called Vinny. It was one phone call. I zelled him 5 minutes later. I knew
Fire.
what I wanted, and I was like, "Yo, here." You know what I'm saying? Like,
And mind you,
I,
this is a
I,
guy, guys,
I
just to be clear,
yeah,
owned
I
3
never met him.
booth rent
Yeah,
barbershops, and he's
yeah,
still paying for mentorship.
yeah.
And he never met the dude, but he did enough
Mhm.
of his homework to understand that what he
Mhm.
is going to mentor him on, he can mentor him on that because he has the credibility.
Yeah.
So even though he hasn't known this man forever, he did his homework to see those
I've
receipts
I've
and to make
never
sure that
met
he's
I've
putting his
never
money
I
back.
never met him in person. He's
I
gonna
just
he's
met
gonna
him for
come
the
out
first
here. I'm
time
gonna
last
host
week.
him. Yeah,
Shout out to Vinny, bro.
I never met him in person. And you know what I loved about him when he talked? It sounded thorough, right? It wasn't no manipulated. I know just from talking to him for 10 minutes, he's not into all the fluff, right? You know what
Nah,
I
he
mean?
could
Works
care
hard.
less about
And I
all of that.
exactly. And when I talked to him, I just asked for the receipt. That's all I cared about. I didn't know him. I said $1.7 million on one location. He said, "Yes, Will." I said, "Show me the receipt and I'll send you a Zelle right now."
Yeah,
He
bro. Put
showed me the receipt and
him
I
up
sent
on
him
the
a
gem
Zelle.
talk. He wasn't
You know
playing.
what I'm saying? And we talked a couple times, and then he seen everything I was building. He said, "Wait a minute, Will, this is insane." He was like, "You're at the school right now?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he so we talked a little bit. Once I set up the program, I mean, that was a couple weeks. He was like, "Wait a minute, I need to do what you doing."
And this is
You
enough.
know what
Let
I
me
mean?
let
So,
me
and it's
let me
just like,
go in
yo,
on
we
this real
learn
quick
from
too.
each other. We learn from each other. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not nothing crazy. It's like I knew he had a lead generating system, and it's incredible. I'm telling you, hey man, listen, just let my compound effect take place over these next. Like my school is sold out.
It's fire.
I got real estate, all that stuff. Like I don't need the money. My margin in my life is going to be 2 commission barbershops. I'll literally do whatever I want. I'm gonna turn 38 next month. Just give it to the end of this year.
This is what I want to
It
say
need
real quick.
time. It need
Let me
time.
say this. This Vinnie guy, right? Because some of you
Yeah.
guys tuning in, right? Homeboy Derek says, Vinnie who, right? So this
Right.
Vinnie guy that Will's showing a
Shout
lot
out
of
to
love
my
to,
man Vinnie,
right?
man. Shout
That
out to
Will
Vinnie.
show a lot of love to. Shout outs to Vinnie that I'm showing a lot of love to. And the people who know him are showing love to in the comment section. This Vinnie guy, you guys can't really see this. He has 2,692 followers. Okay.
Yep.
Let me repeat. 2,692 followers.
He could
Okay.
have 200 and he wouldn't care.
Right. He did 1.7 in his shop last year. A couple years in a row, he's done $1 million. Got barbers making over 6 figures. He told me, he said, Marv, moved to Texas. I got 100,000 waiting for you in the shop. Vinny's my man. If I'm moved to Texas, it's gonna be for other reasons. I ain't trying to do all that no more, right? But either way, that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make is that so many of you tuning into this will overlook Vinny because he has 2,692 followers. So many of you guys will just walk right by him, not want to engage with him if you've seen him at an event, if he actually makes his way to an event, which he did. Shout out to Vinny for coming to the 5-Star Barber Expo. You wouldn't even care because he's not on a flyer, or he's not doing a class, or he's not standing on a stage. And what I'm here to tell you is that so many of you could learn so much more from people, number one, who are in your area with successful businesses, and from some of these people that I'm trying my best to introduce you to. You can learn so much more from them than you can learn from a lot of these people that you're DMing every day on social media simply because they have big followers or simply because they have viral videos. I can promise you, a lot of the people that you guys are hitting up trying to figure out how you're going to go about opening your shops and do all this stuff, you're hitting these people up. They can't answer those questions because they have no clue, right? Whereas Vinny, 2,000 followers, you hit him up. He's an open book. He's got his mentorship. He's got he's got the receipts to prove he can teach you what he's about to teach you, and he could change your life. So I know I'd be going all over the place, but I feel like I had to say this because I don't want you guys to be blinded by the high follower count, man. I don't want you to be blinded by that shit. I don't want y'all to be blinded by people being on a flyer or standing on a stage, bro. Some of the most impactful things that have helped me in my life have come from people at events who have no social media presence whatsoever. And I get lucky because I am the influencer. I am the social media guy. So I am the guy that people want to talk to. But in a lot of interactions, when people are trying to learn from me, I'm trying to learn from them too. And I've learned some of the most impactful stuff from people with small followings. So just keep that in mind, guys. Don't be blinded by the social media stuff and these numbers you see on the keyboard or on your phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm telling you, when I talked to him, I mean, we got straight to business. Wasn't no bunch of fluff. And now me and Vinny talk every day. And it's crazy because he told me, he was like, yo, people usually call me with problems. He said, you call me with updates. I'm like, because all I needed was a lead generator and somebody who had the receipt. That's all I needed. I was like, oh, okay. Man, I've been running barbershops for over a decade. I know how that go, right? I've been studying leadership for the last 15 years.
And
I know what
shout
that
outs
looks
to
like.
Popular Nobody, who is Vinny's mentor. Vinny
Mentor,
gives him love. Like, I hope you guys see a common theme, man. Like mentorship. Basio's been in this chat all night. He got his 6-figure barber mentorship. Listen, man, there are people out here
elite people
can help
know.
you.
Elite people know what's going on, right? And then Basio, he didn't necessarily agree, but that don't mean I'm going to change what I'm doing. And I respect Basio. He's built an incredible business, right? But in Atlanta, I'm doing my thing too. We don't have to agree on everything. That's cool.
Right.
He
And
do his thing, I do
routes
mine.
to get to destination.
Exactly. Exactly. Some people, like, that's why you have to believe in what you're doing. Because if not, somebody can say a comment and you fold.
Yeah.
I'm not folding. I'm going to come back around in a year from now with a whole bunch of receipts. And you never know. Somebody else may change their mind.
Yeah. And at the end of the day there's multiple ways to do things. So you just got to figure out what makes the most sense for you, what works for you. and
Yep.
for your vision. Even, in this conversation, like I mentioned earlier, I do a booth rent shop. For me, for what I'm currently doing, that works the best for me. It just
Mhm.
works the best for me. Who knows?
Yep.
Maybe in the future I'll change that too. But for me and my vision and my goals and what I'm trying to do, the booth rent works for me, and that's
Yep.
okay. You know what I'm saying? But I also know if my main focus was to really like just do some crazy stuff with multiple shops and really expand and do some dope stuff with a lot of shops, there's no way I'm operating a booth rent model. There's just no way, just
Yeah.
because it just doesn't make sense for
It
growth. And that's
you
why
when you
I feel like
it
so many
promotes
you just see like
promotes.
so many of the booth rent shop owners, they own one location, maybe two.
Yeah.
The anomaly gets to three, but it's
Yep.
usually one or two. Whereas when you see 5, 6, 7 and more shops, they're always commission based, salary. They're a different business model because those
Yeah.
business models allow for you to
Yeah.
accelerate your growth faster. They
Yep.
just do.
And to go back to what we were talking about with the suites, right? People eventually gonna come out of there and come to shops. They ain't gonna go back to the shop they just left. They're gonna build up and they're gonna leave and go get a suite, and then they're gonna go find somewhere else to go, right? If they didn't work out for them. But if you can't create your own leads in a suite and you go back to a booth rent shop and you got to create your own leads again, like it's just spinning the hamster wheel, man. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to help people get some money. And if
Mhm.
I make money by helping, if I make $1 million by helping 8 barbers make $100,000 a year, I've earned it. Period.
I think something I want to hear you speak to a little bit too,
Yeah.
um, is finances, bro,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
financial literacy, because that's key
Mhm.
too, right?
Yes, it is.
Because it's not just about making more money, it's about doing the right things, right? And I think we're all
Yep.
learning, we're all at different stages, right? But there is that barber that's tapped into this that may say, all right, I'm gonna do this commission thing and switch. Now they
Mhm.
start getting more money,
Mhm.
but they
Mhm.
still don't do the right things with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So can you speak
Mhm.
a little bit on financial literacy and
Yeah.
maybe share some insight and advice?
Yeah, it's one of my trainings, my online trainings at my school is I put together 30 videos teaching my students financial principles to help them live fundamentally sound financially, right? And I don't make the decisions I make with as much courage as I make them without being financially prepared, right?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My boy Will froze on me again. We gonna let him come back, but I love this comment right here. Right, it says, "I don't know where this idea that people will leave suites is coming from. I get why you may see things that way, but when you're tapped in and you're involved,
We back.
when
We
when
back
you're when
again.
you're when you're bigger than just what you're doing in your world, you see more, right? So I can
Mhm.
understand why when you're in a suite and you're doing well and you're thinking like, why are they even talking about people leaving suites? Bro, if you just step out of your shoes for a minute, all right, maybe try
Mhm.
stepping in mine or Will's, where we're dealing with tons of barbers talking to us online every day, and then we're
Mhm.
going places, especially me, where I'm having interactions with hundreds and thousands of barbers, right? So I got a broader world view that I understand a lot of you guys don't have. So when you say, where does this idea that people are leaving suites are coming from, I hear the stories all the
Yeah.
time. The same thing with Will, and I think we got my man Will back, and I'm sure he's gonna have some thoughts on that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
What up, bro? Welcome back.
So I was talking about the finance,
Yeah.
right? And I don't make the decisions I make without everything being calculated. That's just Bible. You better count the cost, right? I am always prepared in case everybody walks out because I operate based on my vision and based on what I see and based on where I think things are going to go. I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, I'm like, no, this is what I want to do. So if you are somebody out there who is thinking about making a serious change, make sure you have the money to do it because it could go south quickly. And if you have a bunch of debt and you don't have any capital, you are always going to make a decision that could ruin the current decision you wanted to make. And people slide back and they start backtracking.
So
That
let me
does
ask you
more
something then,
damage.
Will, real
Yes.
quick. What would you
Yeah.
say to the person that is considering, listen to what you're saying and
Mhm,
considering
mhm,
making a change because they're like, all right,
mhm.
he's speaking to my soul. I've done this booth
Yep,
rent thing. It's just
yep.
not working. The money's not really there for me to pour back into the business, into the barbers. You know, the profit's
Mhm,
not really equaling out and making sense for me. And
mhm,
I do want to make this switch, but maybe they don't have money saved up to be
mhm,
able to lose barbers and be okay. So they're in
mhm,
a bind where it's a
mhm,
lot more risky for them to make this switch now because they haven't been good with their
mhm,
finances. What would your advice
mhm.
be to somebody like that?
Well, some sacrifices and some tough conversations need to be made. And I have these conversations with my homies all the time. I don't know what kind of car you drive, but you might need to give it back.
Mm,
I don't know what type of lifestyle you currently got, some subscriptions, something. You're gonna have to save some capital somehow. And you're gonna have to scale back on some stuff. Not take a vacation, cut the gym membership, start jogging around the neighborhood. You gotta do something, right? And you're going to have to get more strict and track your money. People who don't have any money don't track their money either. That's one thing I want to get very clear. If you track your revenue, they will change your habits organically. Most people do not track their money. That's why they have none.
once you
You
see
need
how
to know how much
mindlessly you're
money you're
spending
making.
it, there's sometimes I do that. I'm like, bro, I spent how much on DoorDash this month?
Man,
Ugh.
what?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it just because swiping and make it so easy. If you don't calculate it, you don't have any. So start calculating it. You'll change yourself. Give yourself 6 months, save up some money. Because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. Things when you make big decisions that are going to change the trajectory of your business, it always costs you first. I remember um reading attending a seminar with John Maxwell, and he talked about the law of trade-offs. And he said he made seven significant trade-offs in his life. And he said five of them he went backwards first. And he said the two that he didn't go backwards weren't any good. The five when he went backwards first propelled him forward. So I'm telling you, if you decide to make a change, you're going backwards first. I just told you I lost $14,000 a month. I went backwards first. The rest of the story's got to be written. But I could easily absorb that. My bills are low. I don't have any debt. My cars are paid off. I can absorb that to build what I believe in. So I did it.
So you're saying some people got to make that tough choice of saying, I got to take 2, 3, 4 steps back to be able to go 10 steps forward.
It takes courage. It's not easy. I mean, you got to think, you got to look at CEOs and stuff in companies when they're fire their best people, right? I remember reading a book on leadership. It was really good. I don't know if y'all familiar with All Blacks. They're like a rugby team over in Europe. They've
Yeah.
won like the championship like 20 years in a row. You know what I mean? Like they're like their culture is like incredible, right? And one of the things that the book was talking about was sometimes you may have to fire your best player
Mm,
to keep your culture.
that's deep.
Yeah. And I was like, yo, he's like the best player on the team has to go. Because when people reach a certain level, they get complacent, right? When you're getting that booth rent and it's paying the bills, you got a little profit left over, you get complacent. You know in your heart if a change need to be made, but that comfort won't allow you to do it. And then if you ain't progressing, you regressing. I
Mm,
saw my shops regress when I opened up the school. Where your focus goes, things grow. My focus went to the school, it grew. That's clear, that's apparent. I wasn't at the shop as much and I can't go back to it as much. I needed change. Change was necessary. I evaluated all my options, looked at all my resources, made a calculated decision, and I'm standing on it. We'll see what happens.
mm. So what he's saying, guys, is you got to have some sort of strategy in play, man. You
Mm-hmm.
got to do some hard thinking and develop a strategy. And on top of that, you got to have some faith too. You do got to have faith and you got to have conviction in your vision. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you, bro, there are so many distractions and there are so many thoughts that you'll have that can knock you off course, but when you got that strategy in play and you got that conviction in your vision and you just do whatever you got to do to execute, bro, you'll be
Mm-hmm.
surprised at what you can accomplish. One of the most life-changing things I ever heard was necessity is the mother of invention. So when you got to figure out a way, you will figure out a way.
Yep.
And I think one of our superpowers that we underestimate is our ability to survive, right? It's our most core basic need. And what I mean when I say that is so many of us forget that that's our superpower, and we don't put ourselves in situations where we have no plan B, right? We are scared to put our back against the wall because it is scary to be there. But if we can just take that time to remind ourselves that, yo, we're going to figure it out. Any other time in my life where my back was against the wall, where there was no plan B, where I had to make this happen, I made it happen, and I think that superpower is one that we keep tucked away more than we should. I think that we got to put ourselves in those situations more where it's like Tony Robbins says, if you want to take over the island, you got to burn the boat. You got to get rid of it. You got to give yourself no other choice, but before
And
you
what
get
I
to
call
that
it,
point,
what
you also got to,
yeah,
like Will was saying, you got to have some sort of strategy, because sure, you can jump into things without no strategy and make it happen. But, there are ways where you can make it a little bit easier on yourself if you come, with some sort of strategy.
Yeah, the data will direct you, man. Just track everything. Keep all the your numbers. How much money you make, what you're spending on this, and that. I think if barbers did that more, they'd understand. I don't. I ask barbers, I'm like, how much money you make? They're like, they don't really know. And it's like, yo, like you gotta know because we can't improve on something we don't know what it is. Gotta
That's a fact.
understand where we are. Gotta understand where we are.
This is what I want y'all to do right now. Number one, if you haven't took a screenshot, take a screenshot of this at some point. So that way, when we're done, you can share it to your story to let people know that Gem Talks has returned and is back and got Will as a co-host. Yo, Will is hosting with me now. I hope y'all know that. Like, Will is here, bro. It's about to get crazy. Y'all don't even know. It's about to get crazy. So take a screenshot at some point so you can share it to your story. And that way we can show you love. And what I want to say is this: we are going to do the giveaway where we're giving this away. It's the Babylist Low Pro. Let me take it out the box for y'all. The Low Pro trimmer, right? With the battery pop out of it and all that. The battery's not in it, right? It's in the box still. But we're going to be giving that away. So make sure you've entered that. So that way, when the time comes for us to decide the winner, you can give yourself the best chances of winning. And also, shout outs to my Bopper family. My dude, Tim and Bopper, what he did for us tonight is, let me pull it up on the screen. He made a special, right? A special promotion for y'all where you guys are going to get all of this stuff, right? It's a Barber's Bopper card. I don't know why it's not popping on the screen. I'm trying to show this one banner, but I'll put it on after. But you'll get the Barber's Bopper card. You get the Bop card that goes on the back of your phone, the Barber's one, and then you'll get a couple other things. The keychain is fire, and the one that goes on the back that's got a different logo on it. But all of this stuff will help you market yourself better as a barber, and you're getting it all of these things. You're saving $50, so you get all of it for $35. So all you got to do is go either to the link in this description or go to bopper.com/Dan50 to be able to get that promotion. Also, check out my boy Will, bro. My man got the Profresh Foundation up and running. All right, guys. Flood the chat with some clapping emojis, some flowers, some love. Bro, Will's trying to do not trying to do anything. Will's doing some amazing things, going to be doing even bigger things. You already know Marv is on the mission with him. And so many of you guys could join the cause and help as well. So make sure you check this out as well. Will, before I talk about some of the other stuff I was going to talk about, do you want to speak on this real quick?
Yeah, man. So this is my project I just launched 2 weeks ago. And I got some exciting meetings coming up with the city of Atlanta, investing in the youth of the city of Atlanta. Our mayor, his strategy to reduce crime rate in the city is to get young people involved in trades. So I got a major meeting with him coming up next month. Also, I'll be meeting with CEO for small businesses with Walmart and even the Truist Bank. Some people I'm connected to there, and we're gonna raise resources to give people scholarships to go to barber school and get a trade. So I talk a lot about making an impact, in your community, making things better. And I was somebody who went to barber schools, man, that, people would be ashamed of, and those schools aren't around anymore. And I'm now making it my mission to keep costs affordable where I won't even have to go to financial aid route with the help of the community. So if you want to support our barber community in any way here in Atlanta, Georgia, if you're here, I tell people like, shop owners struggling, whether you're commission or booth rent, to hire quality barbers, why don't you sponsor some?
Mm.
Right. And when you do sponsor some or you donate scholarships, you can put stipulations to that where they work in your company for 6 months or a year. Right. If they accept that scholarship, this is not foreign. This is what colleges do. Um, and it just helps strengthen our community as a whole. So my vision is much bigger than a commission barbershop or a booth rent barbershop. It's to train the next generation of barbers, not only just teach them technical skills, but teach them how to market themselves and what to do with their money after they actually make some, so they can enter into ownership and retire financially free. So the Profresh Foundation is the beginning of that. It's the last leg of the business model where now I'm able to not only train people from day one, never picked up a pair of clippers a day in their life. I get to teach them, right? I also can help them with gainful employment, whether they join my shop or our partner shops, right? And then have them work there, make six figures, teach them finance so they can save their own money. And then we can franchise the business model to them and get them into ownership under a commission model within 3 to 5 years upon graduation. So it's so much more bigger than booth rent ver commission, barber battles, can he cut, can he can't cut, all that stuff. What I've built over the last 15 years is a complete operation to take a novice to an owner so they can retire financially free. So I hope you
Barbers.
all enjoy that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's the overall mission, man. And so anything that you support that I'm on, just know this is what I do. This is all real. You're more than welcome to come to my school. Like I said, we sold it out in 15 months because I believe I poured my heart and soul into it, and it's only going to get better from here. And yes,
I love
here's
it,
the
man.
thing, right?
This is
When you
dope.
do sacrifice, right? I always talk about the greater your success, the greater the sacrifice has to be. Most people do not know this, but I worked at Profresh Barber Academy for 12 months for free.
Mm.
I was able to live off of my barbershops and my real estate and my low expense lifestyle. That was strategy. Otherwise, the school probably doesn't exist. I worked there for 12 months without getting a paycheck. I took my first paycheck March 1st.
We need to show some love in the chat, bro. We need to show
So
some
I
love
don't
in the
I
chat,
don't
bro.
just I
That's how
don't
you
just
invest into
talk.
your business, man, and invest into your people. That's dope, yo.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
inspiring
just
as
talk
hell.
about it, man. I appreciate that. My students, we just had our graduation. It's just me and my wife. It's no investors. It's me, my wife, and my kids. If y'all like the decor of the graduation, my wife did that, man. She's in the chat, man. Shout out to her. She might still be in there. She was dropping some game in the chat.
Yo,
But
listen, just so you guys know, it ain't no Marvy Marv Barber School coming next. It's Marvy Marv and Will. We teamed up. You know what I'm saying? This is the
for
Avengers
sure.
is building. So it's all about building up the Profresh brand and the academy and the foundation and everything. I'm on board
It's,
with
it's,
helping
it's
to
gonna
do that.
it's gonna be phenomenal, man. And just to see how much people love being at school, young people, I'm able to mentor them. Not only, and I tell people, maybe you want to be successful, your foundation is your house. Your house is
It's
your
a
first
fact.
business. If you can't get that right, nothing else matters. Like I was telling my students today, we were talking, during break, and I told them, man, I said, if my house isn't in order, if me and my wife and my kids aren't in sync, there is no barbershops. There is no barber school. It takes a team effort, and the house has to be in order, right? I don't run around all day, all night. My wife ain't checking for me where I'm at. She knows that already, right? We live like right now. My wife is at the beach condo. I'm here with Marv. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have a synergy that helps all of this stuff work, right? We get stuff done. She believes in me, and I try my damnedest to prove her right. And we inspire our kids in the process. But true wealth is created through the family.
It's a fact.
And I think barbers need to understand that, man. You keep the family together and you build. And life is about the journey. So,
I love that. And
yeah.
you already know I'm on the same type of time. Will we talk about it all the time? And a lot of you guys who have heard me speak before, met me and stuff, you already know how important family is to me. How important building, from that place of structure with my family, it has helped me do everything I've been able to do. Without my
Yeah.
wife 100% having my back, 110, 20% having my back, and then having everything good at my house with my kids and my parents. And yeah, I'm a very family oriented person, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just grateful. I'm blessed. I'm fortunate, and I think it's important to build a strong family, to
Yeah.
build off that
The
strong
house the
foundation.
house is the foundation, man. It's the true wealth and the legacy is built through the family, man. And when you're a distracted man can't do nothing.
Yeah,
you
that's a
know
fact.
and and I don't care how nice you are with the Clippers. If you're distracted, you're out partying and doing all this crazy stuff, you're extending resources in areas they don't need to go. To be a successful entrepreneur, it doesn't take some of you, it takes all of you. You have to be committed, you have to have vision, you have to make sacrifices, and if you're distracted, you just can't do it. And you know I get my most clear thoughts when I'm at home. you
Hmm.
know, I love the barber game. You know what I mean? Everything that I've gotten in my life that has been good to me has come from the barber chair. I met my wife, I did her eyebrows. My
That's
best
fire.
friends are my clients. All of my shops turned into the next one, right? Now it's turned into the school. Like I owe my entire life to Christ and a pair of clippers that my grandmother bought for me when I was 14 years old and turned me to learn how to shave. And I took a pair of 14.99 Remingtons from Walmart because I couldn't afford to get a haircut and turned it into a multi-million-dollar operation. I owe a
Mm,
lot to a pair of clippers.
that's a fact. Yo, when I bought my house, I got the footage of it when I was buying my house. I'm signing
Yeah.
paperwork. I had the clipper sitting on right there because it's like,
Yeah.
this thing done took me all over the country. You know what I'm saying? It but put the house over my head. It's done some amazing stuff. So shout outs
Yeah.
to the Clippers. Barbers.
For
This is what I
sure,
want to
man.
do real quick. Guys, ask questions. All right. Because what I want to
Yeah.
do is answer some of your questions. Shout outs to everybody that's done a super chat. I know there's a couple of you guys that did a super chat. Um, just understand how things work. You pay to play. So anybody that does a super chat, we will 100% answer your question. If you don't do a super
How
chat, that's
many
fine,
people how
but
many
they
people are
get
on?
first priority. But make sure you guys ask some questions. And if you haven't entered the giveaway yet, you might want to do it quick. You can do so if you go to ismarvymarv.com. Let me pull it up on the screen. Boom. It's right at the top. Enter for your chance to
Yes,
win.
indeed.
So do that. And then after the live too, guys, make sure you check out all the other stuff I got. I got the, free card, the marketing bundle, my social media course. We got shirts and, all of that stuff. So sign up for the social media course too. Stop playing, bro.
Yeah, for
Come
sure.
work with us.
Man,
And
my
what
TikTok
were you
got
saying?
80. My TikTok got 88K on it
Yeah, and your
because
Instagram at like 70K
yeah,
too. It was in the social
because
media
of
course
Marv.
too.
I had
Shout
like
out to the course
10,000 at
family
that
tapped
point.
in.
I didn't even have a TikTok. Marv was like, "Yo, Stan, man, just get on TikTok, bro." And I was on TikTok, and by like 15 posts in, I was going crazy.
Yeah, you were. You were
And
going nuts.
yeah,
You
it
built.
was,
You
yeah, it
started
was,
building quick.
it was crazy, man. And then what I mean. So Marv, that social media stuff. Marv is the guy. He knows it in and out. He loves it. He's passionate about it. He could talk social media all day.
All
So y'all,
day.
and I know you guys get value from Marv. Show Marv love, man. Like when you pour into people, you validate to them what they're doing and you make them do it even more. So I always tell people, man, there's nothing like getting encouragement. When I get emails from my students and private text messages about how I changed their life, it validates all of the struggles and work and sacrifices that I make. It's not about the money. Words they go a whole lot further at times. You know what I'm saying? So if you can join into Marv's stuff and get the results, man, that's what he does it for. And we have to learn to support our own, man. We're barbers in the same industry, we're helping, and you get value for free. So sometimes you just got to pour a little bit into that. That's what I did with Marv. Me and Marv are tight now because I cut the check, and I bought a social media course, and then we developed a little bit of a conversation piece on the side, right? And then I was like, yo, come out here and do a class. And he's like, I don't know, bro. I did Texas and Florida. I don't know if Atlanta is my type of market. I said, well, look, I'll host you at my Airbnb. We'll host it at my shop. It costs you $200. You think we can sell 3 tickets at $75? Marvin's like, well, I think we can do that. I was like, all right, well, let's try it. And we sold it out. You know what I mean? And I always tell people that was Marv's content. That was his stuff. I was learning. I didn't tell Marv I needed 50-50 split and all that. I said, Marv, look, man, just come out here and teach, bro. You know what I mean? Marv was like, look, man, here goes some money. Thank you. And now we're doing this. You know what I'm saying? So you have to spend money. You think Marv's relationship with me and my relationship with him exists if I didn't spend $150? I'm just another social media follower.
And now look at we doing gem talk.
Yeah, I mean, now we talk every other day. You know what I mean? So it's you got to do that, man. Like that because his time is valuable. The DMs and stuff are cool. They may stroke your ego, but Marv is about impact. $150 allows him to impact you. He's always going to go for that.
Yeah. So come join the course family. Who knows? You might be on here with me and Will next when you join the course family. And if you guys sign up tonight, let me know too. If you sign up for the course tonight, just DM me and I'll make sure I hook y'all up. Will was just, I appreciate you, Will. Will showing a lot of love. And I'll hook you guys up for signing up tonight.
I don't mind doing that, man. You know, when people pour into your life, you have to respect that. I always tell people when people sow into you and you don't acknowledge that, you start walking in quicksand. You know what I mean? Acknowledge the people who've put you on game. Like you don't lose anything by doing that. People are always like me, right? Nobody on here really, knew Vinnie like that, right? He's not on social media, but Vinnie shared information with me that changed my life. I owe him that. I told him I was going to do it before we got on the call today. I said, make sure you on. I want to give you your flowers.
No, that's a fact. Vinnie deserves. Drop the flowers again for Vinnie, man. Shout outs to Vinnie. Vinnie hit me with the DM back when I was talking about. I think it was I first heard from him when it was me and Joe, Barber Guru, doing the commission stuff, and he sent me receipts, and Vinnie's been dope ever since then. So Vinnie's on the Avengers squad too, bro. Vinnie's the man.
The Avengers. I like that because that's what we are for sure, man.
Fact.
Hey, Mark, crazy. We making the neighborhood barber great again.
That's a fact, bro.
That's what we
barbers.
Yes, indeed.
I haven't seen no barbers in it. I'm lying. I've seen a few barbers in the comments, but I need some more barbers. Drop your best barbers.
I didn't get to look at the chat. I want to look at the comment.
If we don't take some questions, we're gonna be on here all damn night, bro.
For sure.
You guys enjoying this? Let us know. Flood the chat with some love. Let us know how you're feeling about this. And I know Will got some more answers. I know Derek want to know this. What can you say when it comes to the marketing strategy? Because you've been talking about getting leads and stuff like that and getting new customers. What can you discuss when it comes to that? That will be helpful.
So obviously location matters. You're all your, local marketing, building partnerships in your local areas, and obviously using social media, right? Everybody doesn't have that. But the number one search engine in the world is Google. If you can find a way to organically get into those search engines, you'll solve your issues. And here's what I'll tell you. My man Vinnie has cutting edge technology. Pay the man. I'm telling you, man, I don't know what else to say. Pay the man. He going to tell you what it costs. Pay the man. That's all I'm going to say.
I love it. All right. Rapid fire again too. I know because you be having mad good answers, but I want to try to answer a bunch of these. So let's try to rapid fire these too. I'm opening a shop, first shop in 3 months. What suggestions do you have to find barbers? I think we covered that a little bit, but they might have missed that.
Yeah. So you're going to need to find a pipeline. Oftentimes, majority of the time, that's going to be your local schools. they're producing the next generation of barbers that need an opportunity. You have an opportunity. You have to figure that out. Whether that's building a relationship, whether that's, you know what I mean, sowing the seed in there, whether that's going and teaching a day, offering some sort of value for access to the pipeline. You have to build relationships. Nobody's just coming to knock on your door. It doesn't work like that, right? Not until you got crazy receipts and they can see it. So you're going to need to build some relationships. It's how companies recruit. It's how, you know what I mean, people like it's how free agency works. All that, agents talk to agents. You got a network and you need to go to the pipeline. The pipeline is the school. The other ones are the icing on the cake, but the cake is built at the school.
I love it. Max says, Marv, how are you able to stay on social media as often as you do and post so much without getting overwhelmed, irritated, stressed, or bored? Who said I don't get overwhelmed, irritated, stressed, or bored? That's where some of y'all got to understand I'm human just like you. I get overwhelmed, irritated, stressed, and bored too. But at the end of the day, that's when discipline has to take over. Or sometimes I just take a break. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question in a more practical and tactful way, I'm at a point in my career now where I cut hair full time 2 days a week. So I have 5 other days that are flexible for me and where I can do more of my content stuff. But even with that being said, what I do often is I schedule out time to create and edit content the same way I'd schedule out time to cut hair in a barbershop. So what does that look like? For example, throughout the week, I'll have ideas of different skits and stuff I want to do. I write them down in my notes. Come Sunday or Monday, I go in the shop when it's closed, 2 hours in there by myself, knock out a bunch of skits. Now I have skits for the week. You know what I'm saying? I've also simplified my strategy to where I'll go live with you guys, record that for a half hour, get off, chop it up in another 10 pieces, more content, right? So I've simplified my strategy. So, you know, long story short, because I can go, like Will said, I'll talk about social media all damn day. The key thing for me is figuring out how to make it as simple as possible. Because if I don't make it as simple as possible, I'm not going to be able to be consistent, right? And again, that's why I mentioned my course earlier. Join it because then we could work more directly. If social media is something you feel like you truly want to do, you feel pulled to do, I could do my best to help guide you in a direction that simplifies it so that way you can be more consistent and get overwhelmed less, irritated less, stressed less, and bored less. You know what I'm saying? But it's something I'm passionate about, something I love to do. And I'm always trying to figure out how to simplify my life. Shout out to Concise the Barber says for the value, just showing some love.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? That's dope.
Hey, one thing I'll say that Marv did for me, right? And maybe this will resonate with the guy that asked the question, is oftentimes I say confused people do nothing. The reason why people are stressed out on social media trying to create content is they're confused. You don't know what apps to use. You don't know what your strategy is, what your goal is. Marv is going to give you clarity and then give you the resources and the techniques to simplify it. Simplicity will always win. Sometimes you have to go through complex to get the simplicity. Marv has went through complex. He's figured it out. He'll give you simplicity for $150. To me, that's worth it. That's pennies on a dollar. So,
like for example, like what Will's saying, right? We're going to take this gem talk and I'm going to upload it into one of the programs that I use afterwards, the whole 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever we do. And what's it going to do? It's automatically going to chop me up probably 30, 40 pieces of content. And then I'm going to take that 30, 40 pieces of content. There's probably going to be 5 to 10 that I actually really like. And I'm going to use those. Right. Yep. But it's me having a resource and a system and a tool that makes my life a whole lot easier. So I literally just take this video, load it into that, and it chops it up for me. And there's so many things that exist that you just don't know. And there's just so much that you don't know that buying into, you know, my program, for example, is something that will help you a lot. And that's why I'm a huge believer in courses, mentorships, classes, and education and buying my way into rooms and into relationships, because you just a lot of times don't know what you don't know. And things seem difficult and overwhelming and hard a lot of times when they could be easier if you just had access to the right information or the right tools or the right guidance.
Here's a quote to that, right? That changed my life forever. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. A lot of us are stuck Because we're ignorant and unwilling to pay for education. So we waste valuable time. And then ultimately, guess what we have to do? Eventually pay.
Yep.
Pay now. Just pay now. And I'm not using those sales taxes or anything on you. I'm telling you to pay Marv. He knows what he's doing. I see a guy here talking about, hey, did you guys verify your Google accounts, this and this and that? DM Vinnie and pay the fee, and you'll get the answer. Otherwise, it could be 6 months from now. You may still be answering that same question.
That's a fact, bro.
Yo, I'm telling you. And then you got 6 months of results or 6 months of confusion. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. We're all trying to put our lives on autopilot, but you got to pay to do that.
I love that.
Nobody wants to do it all. Nobody wants to do it all. I don't want to do it all.
I love sharing the story of one of the like ClickFunnels people that I was following back in the day, and he wanted to join Russell Brunson's mastermind, right? And to do it, it was $150,000 for the year. And he said he was all intent on signing up for it, which some of you guys hearing that are like, what, $150,000 a year? Yeah, people pay that for mentorships and mastermind. You wouldn't believe some of the numbers people pay, right? So he wanted to pay this, but he said that he procrastinated, did whatever he was doing at the event. Long story short, he went to sign up for it and he couldn't do it. He had to wait till next year because the space is filled up. Now, the average person will see that and say, well, at least he didn't waste it, or not waste. He didn't have to spend $150,000. So now he gets to save that money and do something else with it. But he was frustrated because in his mind, he was thinking about all of the money that he missed out on by not joining that mastermind, because joining that mastermind and spending that $150,000 was going to put him in a room with multi-millionaires and billionaires and people that just have so much knowledge and information and resources. He knew that being a part of that was going to give him lifelong connections to help him make millions, right? So he wasn't worried about saving the $150,000. He was stressing because he knew he missed out on millions. So it goes back to what Will was saying. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. And so many of the solutions to the problems that you guys have could be solved by you simply just paying for some education or a mentorship.
I couldn't fathom thinking that I have access to Marv for $150 and I'm over here debating with myself, should I pay it?
Yeah.
Like, that's really crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because
it is wild.
You're gonna because you'll go, right? You'll go out this weekend and spend $150 and wake up tomorrow mad you did it. You know what I'm saying? It's like at some point the mindset has to shift to results based or comfort based. You want to keep doing what you've been doing? It's a definition of insanity. All this stuff is cliche. All the reason why I'm saying it is because it's still relevant. People are still questioning whether they should do it. You want to ask people for the result, but don't want to pay for it. You'll never get something that you don't sacrifice for. You just won't. And the quicker we can fix our mindset on that, like success and money love speed. You can procrastinate for 6 months and then pay, or you could pay now. Even if you pay Marv and it's trash and it's not worth it, at least you got that answer. Now find another option. Straddling the fence gets you burnt. Successful people make decisions quick and change their mind slow. Unsuccessful people make a decision slow and change their mind fast. Which one are you going to be? Make the decision quick, even if it's a bad one. Now you move on. But if you sit here and waste 6 to 8 months thinking about whether you should do it or not, you've just wasted 6 to 8 months guaranteed. And then you got right back at the same decision. If all you lost, one of my friends called me one time, right? Swear to God, my best friend. And I'm going to tell you the story and I'm going to let it go. He called me one time and he said, Stam, I want to invest in my wife's business. She had a makeup business. He called me on a one-off. We're best friends. He said, man, she got this lady online that has a course for her that will teach her how to run an e-commerce business. My wife's never run a business before, but she loves makeup. She loves making women feel beautiful. I want to invest in her, but I don't know, Stam. What do you think I should do? And I said this. I said, what is it? Like, tell me a little bit about it. Told me a little bit about it. I said, $7,500. He said, yes. I said, do it. And he said, why? I said, because $7,500 today is not going to be the reason you die broke. Get the answer. And he was like, that's what he did. Marv, he said,
barbers, y'all need to be flooding the chat with gems. Where are the gems at? I know they're listening to it and they're just like, they're doing this. I need y'all to, whether it's on your phone or wherever, you need to flood the chat with gems, bro. Stop playing with Will, this is a gem talk. This is what we talk about.
So she started this business around the same time I opened up my school. She now sells makeup for $30,000 a month in revenue. Off of $7,500. $30,000 a month in revenue. And her husband is my best friend.
That's awesome.
And we've been friends for 12 years. I'll tell you the other story of my other best friend. He's my left and my right hands. These are the guys you see me with all the time. I was going to look at my first property on Airbnb. Well, I bought the first one. I was coming to get the first one in Atlanta. And he called me just on a random call. Yo, Stan, what's up, bro? I'm checking in with you. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? I'm going to go look at this property. He said, where you at? I said, why don't you just come through? That way you can see how I evaluate it, right? And then, I talk you through my process and, so you can learn, if nothing else. He said, all right, bet. He meets me there at the property. I walk through. I'm talking to my realtor. And I'm like, I think I want to buy it. I said, but I want you to offer them $5,000 more than asking price. But they got to give me an answer tonight. I want it off the market. I don't want it to hit the market tomorrow. Aggressive, right? Paying, right? Time, speed, money, love, speed, right? So I asked my guy, I said, yo, what you think? He said, yo, bro, this joint is actually nice. Like, this is pretty good. I said, do you want in? He's like, wait, what are you talking about? I said, do you want in? I said, 50-50 on this property right here in Atlanta. What you want to do? He said, I don't have 50%. I said, how much do you got? 50% would have been 25,000. It was 200 grand. We had to put down 20% plus closing costs and all that. Right. So I said, do you got, I said, what are you going to do? He said, I could probably do 10,000. I said, all right, cool. You can pay me off the other 15 over the next 12 months. Deal? He's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah. I said, I want to invest in you. You're my friend. You've referred me over 60 clients since I've known you. We've been homies for 10 years. I trust your character. He was like, okay. I said, you need to call your wife. He said, I'll just tell her, but I trust you. It's okay. So we get under contract. We buy the property. 2 months later, Airbnb contacts him and he's on the host advisory board. They paid him $10,000 worth of shares for each year he's been on the advisory board for 3 years. He had no idea about Airbnb, never evaluated property, never bought one other than the house he lives in. What I'm saying is he was willing to put up $10,000 and then he got $10,000 worth of Airbnb stock for every year he's been on their host advisory board 2 months later. If he says no, what happens? Now, he does a couple $100,000 a year influencer deals on social media. I mean, those are my two best friends. We're tight. They've been my clients for a decade. I cut their hair every Friday. But I'm saying that to say you have access to somebody like Marv and you're around here wondering if $150 is worth it. You got to get with the big boys in the big leagues.
Yeah, bro, powerful.
I'm sorry, man. I had to go, man. I had to go there, man.
Bro,
I had to go there.
It's stuff like that changes lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one key thing I want y'all to take away from what he was saying too is, like, if you notice, Will's doing his best to try to surround himself with movers and shakers and people who are hungry, ambitious, and live their life inspired. And there's a lot of you guys tapped in right now that need that type of energy around y'all. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, sometimes it's not in your direct environment. So sometimes you have to look outside your direct environment. And luckily for us now, we have online where things can start online and grow from there, kind of like how it has happened with me and Will, right? Can start
Yeah.
online and build from there. But
Yeah.
ultimately, you're going to want to create an environment that inspires you, that it
Yeah.
challenges you, that
Yeah.
it keeps you hungry, that
Yeah.
fulfills you, that is an environment of people that you enjoy talking to and being around. Because if you just keep that environment you got now, where you're just
Yeah.
you got these people around you who have been there, you call them day ones or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
just constantly dragging you down, killing your dreams, always miserable. You're always trying to lift them up. They're always trying to pull you down. It's going to be hard for you to really blossom into that beast
Mm-hmm.
that you are going to blossom into. It's
Yeah.
like the story of the what is it, the oak seed, right? Whereas you can take an oak seed and you can plant it somewhere, and if it's not getting the right sunlight, it's not being watered right, the people taking care of it aren't taking care of it right, that oak seed isn't going to blossom in it too much, right? Whereas if you take that same exact seed and you put it in a better environment where it's getting the right light, it's getting treated right, it's getting watered right, it's going to grow into a big, beautiful tree, right? And what changed? It's the same seed in both environments, right? But what changed was the environment. One was a
Yep.
healthy environment and one wasn't. And a lot of you guys tuned in right now, I know I'm probably speaking to your spirit. You probably got an unhealthy environment and you're wondering why you're not making the moves you want to make. You're not feeling fulfilled in the way you feel like you should be fulfilled. You're not as happy as you could be. You're not doing the things you want
Yeah.
to. And I'm here to tell you that it may require that courage to change your environment and cut time off from take some of your time back away from some of these people you're giving your time to, and take some of your time away from doing some of the things you've been doing and reallocate that time into better people and into doing
Yeah.
better things so that way
Yeah.
your life can get better.
Yeah. I mean, buy the relationships you want.
That's a fact, bro.
The heart
Spend money to get in
where
that
the where
room.
yeah where the treasure is where the heart is. That's Bible, right? The treasure is where the heart is. Where you spend your money, that's where your heart is at. You not gonna spend your money on growing your business? Why should it grow?
It's a fact.
You gonna beg people, oh, Will, I want you to mentor me. You know what I tell people who ask me that? Come work at my shop. You get it firsthand. And you get to make money while you're doing it. Oh, Will, man, can you work with me on my fades? Or, you know what I mean, can you teach me how to cut straight hair? Come join the academy. I have a lady right now. She took a one-on-one with me this past weekend. She paid $1,000 for 2 hours. I pulled out all my slides, showed her everything, taught her how to cut these type of styles that she wanted. I tailored the class to fit her needs. She then said, "This is the most amazing training I've gotten. You make things so simple, easily digestible, and attainable. I now believe I can do it." She said, "I already have my barber license and my cosmetology license. Can I come to this school?"
Mm.
I said, "Well, from an integrity perspective, I have to charge you full tuition rate because the people who pay that have the rights to those walk-ins that come in and my attention. They paid to be here." I said, "But I can have you sign up for the crossover program, which is for licensed cosmetologists to do 300 hours. That costs $4,000." She said, "When can I start?"
Mm.
I said May 1st. So I will have a student in my school who I cannot get their paperwork. They just want the love and attention and care for detail to help them grow their skills so they can go be their best self. That is another example of what I'm talking about. Why are we debating $150? Go get the education. Education is what solves poverty. It's why I changed my mind. I was successful doing booth rent, but a lot of the people around me weren't as successful because they needed my help and I was no longer there. I have to figure out a new way to still serve those people, because service to many leads to greatness. So the more people you serve, the more money you make. Allow Marv to be great by allowing him to serve you. It's pennies on a dollar.
Barbers. And I love how Will is just like, yo, listen, you can learn a lot from Marv, right? And I love the fact that you're giving me my flowers, and I do appreciate it. And what I would add to you guys, what to say to you guys is, one of the coolest things about the people that I have worked with that have signed up for my course, and this is one of my, like, the things that excite me the most, is that my course was the first one they've ever did, or one of the first ones they ever did. And why I think that's cool is because so many of them, once they did my course and they seen like, oh, this isn't a scam. Oh, I could really learn a lot. Oh, this is dope. It gave them the confidence to invest in the other stuff. So then after going through my course, now they're doing Barber Josh OP's Academy. Now they're doing Chris Bassio's 6-figure barber mentorship. Now they're looking for other courses to do online. Now they're trying to figure out how to get a hold of Vinnie. So it starts that, like, it helps them gain that momentum. It like unlocks that thing where it's like, okay, I could really learn a lot by investing into different courses and mentorships, you know? So I say all that because even if you, for whatever reason, don't feel like social media is valuable for you, or you don't care to learn it, and you're like, you know what, I love what Will's saying, but I'm not going to do Marv's course. There may be some other course out there, or mentorship, or class, or something out there that you may have been thinking about for a while about signing up for, spending that money on. Bro, spend the money on it. Buy that book, you know, go to that event, join that course, do that mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of stuff that could be life-changing for you. Like Will said, education, if you think that's expensive, try ignorance. And there's just so many different areas of your life where you feel stuck or confused, or you lack clarity, or you don't know. And what I want you to understand is that you can get so many of those answers a lot faster by simply just spending some money, bro. Like, it's because
when you pay, you pay
spending,
attention.
you're
When you
either
pay
spending
attention.
time or you're spending money, right? Because you could save the money, but you're going to ultimately spend a lot of time. And like Will said earlier, you may go 6 months, a year down the line and still be in the same exact spot that you are now. Whereas if you just spend a little bit of money up front on that book, on that course, on that mentorship, you save so much time on the back end, and you avoid so many roadblocks and headaches and stresses, and you just can accelerate your growth in so many different ways. So spend the money, man.
And Marv is so worth it. Like, I call Marv, like, yo, Marv, what light I need? What camera battery I need? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, Marv is like, yeah, like, we're tight off of $150, man.
Crazy to think about.
It's crazy to think about. And we've made a lot of money together. We've made thousands of dollars together. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it started with $150 and an online course and some DMs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, it's like, it's I mean, I don't,
Yo,
I don't
I
even
gotta say
say
something though, because it's funny, because somebody just said, "Where is it 150? Where is it?" Because the price went up. You know, barbers raise their prices. Booth rent go up. Commission. You know, barbers want to raise their prices, so it is 197 now. You know what I mean?
Okay,
it is
197 now.
But you know what? Just for this live and for tonight,
Tell him Stam said it was 150.
Listen,
Tell him Stam said it was 150.
Yeah, because Stam been throwing that 150 around. If you guys do want to sign up tonight, just DM me at some point and ask for the promo, and I'll give you a code so you can get it for 150, because we've been saying 150. But you have to sign up tonight. When we get off the live. As soon as we end the live, DM me, or DM
150
me
is what I paid 4 years ago.
I'll hook
you know
up.
what I mean? Marv's entitled to inflation.
Yeah, you're right. That was
barbers
what,
are.
a few years ago.
4 years ago. Yeah, that was 2020.
I got you. I'll do it tonight. That's funny. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the giveaway, man. We're gonna do the giveaway. So I think they're ready. Y'all ready for the giveaway? Let us know in the chat. And here's how it's gonna work. If you didn't enter, all right, please don't participate. All right, you can hang out for the the fun of it all, but please don't participate. How you would have to enter is, again, it's marvymarv.com. Let me pull it up real quick. My thing acting up a little bit. You would have had to click on itsmarvymarv.com and submit your details here. So you probably got another second or so to do it if you haven't done it already. Submit your details there. Now, what we're going to do is, again, I've been telling you guys to make sure you've been paying attention because I'm going to ask you a couple questions. And if you've entered, please answer the questions. And whoever answers the questions correctly first will get the Low Pro FX trimmer. All right. So if you're watching this on a TV, you might want to grab your phone and load it up on your phone as well. So that way you can type because I'm going to need for you to type. All right. So I'm going to ask you questions. Please only answer if you've entered the giveaway, because if you didn't, you're wasting everybody's time and we don't do that out here. All right. And again, this is, let me just show you guys real quick. Have you used this yet,
a lot of people. No, I haven't. I actually want one. I should have entered the chat.
Yeah, you should have. Right, but let me see. I don't want to mess up the box too much. It's actually the battery's dead. It's got to charge, but it's cool. It's the
that joint is fire, bro.
You know, it pops in, the little battery pops out, comes with the little charger. It's cool. I recommend if you do get this, get an extra battery, because that's one thing I wish they would have did different. But I know they're about their money, right? Babyless about their money. So if it came with 2 batteries, that'd be perfect. But if you get an extra battery, what's cool about it is, you know, while you're using it, you don't ever have to worry about it charging. You have the other battery in the charger. This one dies. You just take it out, put it in, put the new one in. You're good to go again. You know what I'm saying? So I would say get an extra battery. Or if you have another clipper that has the battery, you can interchange them. It's pretty cool. But it's a good trimmer. It's good. The Low Pro trimmer, I don't know if you guys have used it. It hits. Easy to gap. So shout outs to Babyless. I feel like they've been in the lead when it comes to the trimmer game for a while. There's some other good companies out there now, but the Babyless trimmers for the most part be hitting.
I mean, hey, I know they got the best marketing for sure. Their marketing is incredible.
All right, bet. So I think y'all are ready. I think they're ready. So I'm going to ask you guys 3 questions. Okay? 3 questions. Sorry when you guys get this, the box will look a little like it's been open because it has. You know what I'm saying? But it's still waiting. It's phenomenal.
Somebody said Commissioner Booth rent at 10:21 p.m. Hey, bro, we just talked for 2 hours about that.
Yeah, I'm going to leave this up too, guys, so you guys will be able to watch it. But I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You got to answer them in the correct order, and whoever answers them first will win. So let me know if you're ready. Flood the chat with a bunch of gems, some fire emojis real quick.
Did y'all get value tonight, man?
Did y'all get value?
What were they saying, man?
What were you saying, Will?
Now I was saying, like, what were they saying, man? I wasn't able to check in the chat. I had it on private chat the whole time. I didn't get to see stuff.
It's all good. It's been a lot of love. What's cool too is when you go back and watch it, Will, and all you guys too. You guys can see the live chat replay, so you can pull it up to read through some of the comments.
Oh, there we go, my man Chase in the chat. Chase know the
here the whole time.
Yeah, Chase, my man. I love Chase, man. Chase is my dude, man. I talked to Chase one time. 3 days later, we bought his first barbershop. Chase is the man. He made quick decisions, yo. Yeah, I gets down with Chase for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah. Bet. So they ready. All right, so here's the 3 questions. Answer them in the right order. Number 1, I hope you guys are paying attention. Number 1, what system does Will use in his commission-based shop to track everything and the sliding scale and all of that? What's that system? How many booth rent shops did Will own? And what is your Instagram handle? Answer them all in one line. Answer them all in one line. One comment. Not 3 separate comments, one comment. What is the system he uses? How many shops did he own? And what's your Instagram name? It's all got to be in one line. It's all got to be in one line. And let me scroll back so I can see who I see is the first one. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I love it. My man put Vibaro. He was typing. He was typing. My man put Figaro. Shout outs to y'all. Let's see. It looks like Sarah on my end. Oh no, not Sarah. I'm lying. I lied. Not Sarah. Amar, is it? No. I think it's Sarah put Figaro. Let me just make sure. Let me scroll back. I think that this is the
It's got to be correct spelling, right?
Yeah, that's right. Right? Figaro?
Yeah.
I mean,
with the G.
I guess the spelling could be all right because that could be confusing the spell.
Yeah.
Definitely can't be Figaro though, but I think this is it right here, Amar. So let me just see if
Okay.
on your end is that the same person?
Yeah,
Listen, guys, and
Amar at
it's on my
1025.
end is the official end. I know sometimes it pops up differently. I remember somebody messaged me and I had to send them my screenshot.
Yeah,
But
because they all had to be on one line, right?
yep, I think it's Amar, right?
Yeah, yeah. That looks like who's first. Yeah.
Okay, so let me see if they entered the giveaway. Don't get your hopes up yet because they might not have entered the giveaway, and if they didn't enter the giveaway, they ain't winning. Let me see.
Oh, he must have
Filter.
been on the whole time too to hear all that.
Yeah, man. Where's the
We had him
search?
tapped in tonight.
Why it not popping up?
I'm excited to be hosting this with you now, Marv. Though we're gonna have a lot of fun, man, and we're gonna impact a lot of people and help a lot of people.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean? Like one thing me and Marv both agree on is like we want to help people. At the end of the
Yeah,
day,
well,
we
hold
want to
them real
make
quick. Do your thing real quick while I find
yeah,
this name because it's not popping up.
we want to make sure that the neighborhood barber really making an impact is at the forefront, right? We want to make sure we want to bring back genuine um impact influence locally to the community through barbers, man. The barbershop once upon a time was a place where the community kind of connected. And I think with the way social media is now, I think although it has great benefits, I think everything's been could become very transactional. I was looking at some research not too long ago, and the consensus is that 70% of people feel the world is getting worse. And the number one reason why is people having consideration for others, right? I think because social media gives everybody a platform, it has literally went to everyone's head. And we want to highlight the people who still have a sound mind and are willing to help others locally in their communities, man. Because that's where the real heroes are, man. You know what I mean? The people that are making a difference locally in their communities, and just impacting people in a positive way. So me and Marv kind of want to highlight that and give the local people a voice, but also some encouragement and some real help because the locals are the ones that get lost in all of the social media stuff, and there is genuinely good people making a difference, and we want to highlight that and also help promote that because
Mm,
that's how it really should be done.
that's a fact, man. And we got so much more to come. Guys, let us know in the chat. We need to know. Do you really feel like you got value? Let us know. And shout outs to Amar as well. I double checked. They are the winner. So you'll be hearing from me after this live so I can get this out to you. But I know you guys got value. I know you guys are excited for what um we're going to be bringing to you guys. And I know you guys are excited to see Will as a host with me on here. Me and Will have some really good conversations, man. So, we've been doing it for years. And it's like, you know what? We need to start having these conversations as Gem Talks. And you guys have seen the way I've done the Gem Talks, and I've had some really good conversations with some really dope people. And it's going to be cool to have me, Will, and somebody else, from time to time. That's dope as well. So be on the lookout for some of those type of collabs, but you're going to be hearing a lot more from me and Will. And we got some things to do, and I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited. Well, I'm grateful for you. I'm excited for the future, and I already know we're going to do some
Mhm.
big stuff. So,
For sure. And the
I'm
feeling
ready
is
to
mutual, man. That's why I think we've always had like a synergy, just between us and just our mindsets and how we kind of think on things and the impact we want to create. So I think it makes sense, man. I'm excited to see what we do with it. Two minds are always better than one. And I think we can deliver value and unbelievable perspective from a transparent way that I think will cultivate our industry, man. So I'm excited to see what we can do.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that real quick before we wrap it up is me and Will, we are out in these streets and we ain't contracted by nobody. Like y'all
Nobody.
do understand
Ooh.
that, right?
And that,
Like,
yeah.
like
Say
these,
that louder for the people in the
like
back.
like we can be real, raw, and transparent. You know what I'm saying? Because we are not contracted by anybody like that. And I've
Nope.
worked so hard, just like Will has, to build, not needing nobody, bro. Right? Not needing nobody.
Mhm.
And the frame of mind that we operate from is we ain't just trying to be controlled by your dollar, bro. Like
Right.
we value the people, we value the
Mhm.
truth, we value
Yep.
being real. So the last thing we're trying to do is put ourselves in a situation where we really have to watch what we say because this they putting money in our pocket. No, man, we out
Nah.
here. We talking about all these clipper companies how we want, any of these systems how we want, any of these products how we
All we
want,
want.
any of these people how we want. We're just bringing it real, and we feel
Yeah.
like that's the best way to do it because
Yeah.
that's the best way to give y'all the real truth and be
Yeah.
fully transparent. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure. And you can stand on business that way. You don't have to cower it over because somebody said, you can't say that. And it's like, well, that's how I feel. Right. And people should always respond to how they feel. You know, we have people on. Sometimes you're not going to agree. That's cool. And I think we have to learn as a culture to be able to agree to disagree and be okay with that. We don't have to hate each other for that.
That's a
Like, I
fact.
don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. That's fine. I mean, you see if you right, I see if I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna come back and say what I did today. You know what? I did say that, but I don't feel like that no more. New data, new research, I changed my mind. New perspective. I
Yo,
pay attention to my own business, so I see what's going on. I'm not ignorant to that.
guys, real quick, somebody type Gem Talk 50 in the chat. That's going to be the coupon code, but you got to give me a couple minutes to activate it, right? So if you want to sign for my course, Will been throwing that 150 out for y'all. Shout outs to Will for helping y'all save some money. Just type Gem Talk 50, and as soon as I end the live, I'm going to make that a promo code. Then you just go to itsmarvymarv.com. You just click the link in my bio on Instagram, or you go to itsmarvymarv.com. I'll pull it up real quick before we wrap this up so you can see. And where is it? Where's the window at? Why didn't it pop up? Oh, we got to hit enter. The first time
Concise
using the
says, I
internet.
got value once I knew y'all was going live. Hey man, shout out to Concise, man.
Yeah, he's the man.
For sure, man.
I got to kick it with him out in Florida at JRL when we went to the JRL warehouse. Got to kick it with him out there. And it was cool. He's a cool dude, man. Started building our relationship, spent
Yeah,
some
it's
time.
a lot of winners on the chat, man. I can see, man. So that's good, man. I'm glad, that people are able to get real transparent, no filter conversations, man. That's what we want, man. Like, tell the truth. Like, you know how you watch a video and you're like, oh, here comes the promo, here it comes, and it's like you lose trust at some point. You're like, all right, golly, it's like, how many sales pitches am I gonna get? At the end of the day, man, like, give us some real experience, like, give us something real. And I'm always transparent, even in my process, because I'm not attached to what people say or feel about me. I know who I am. I'm very secure in that space. So I can make a decision to be wrong. I'll own that. That's cool. I can make a decision to be right. And I'm gonna own that too. I one of the greatest lessons I can give anybody, if you're still paying attention,
Oh, they
is
are. They don't want us to end, bro. Trust me.
is get over yourself. Some of the best advice I can give you. Get over yourself. How you feel, what somebody got to say. Just get over it. Right? Track your stuff, make calculated decisions, invest in the relationships you want, but get over how you feel. Feelings are all temporary.
Mm.
Somebody told me one time, Will, you can feel the feeling and still do the action anyway. And I was like, ooh, right? You can not feel like working out and still work out. You can not feel like doing social media today and still actually do it, right? You're not impaired. You have to get over yourself, right? I talk to some of my students all the time, and they say, man, Stan, man, I can't speak in front of people like you. I said, cool, well, you going to speak today? No. I'm like, yes, you are. I said, and then I tell them why. I said, because the first time you do anything, you're going to suck. But we got to get that part out of the way. So many people are scared of nothing. You just have to do it. And then once you realize you didn't die, now you've grown. Because they say, what don't kill you, make you stronger. So
no, Will just he can't help but to drop gems, guys. I hope you realize that. It's just he can't help but to do it. Will is snapping, bro. You're the man. Guys, I activated the code, so Gem Talk 50 will work. I was trying to pull it up on my internet, but for some reason, I don't know, maybe my daughter's playing a video game or something, but the site ain't working. But Gem Talk 50 will be the code. As long as you sign up tonight, you'll save $50. Do not message me tomorrow and say, yo, I'm trying the code, it's not working. It will not work. If you're watching this on the playback and it's not, tonight, it's not going to work. But if you sign up tonight, shout outs to Will for blessing y'all with the 150. You'll save $50. Again, if you haven't already done so, make sure you follow Will Snam on all social media platforms. Subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed the conversation and are looking forward to more of them. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. And make sure for that screenshot y'all took, you post it to the story and tag me and Will in it. Let us know if you got value out of it, so that way we can show you some love. Any last words?
I'm following everybody who follows me tonight. I'm following them back. I'm gonna do that. Anybody who follows me tonight, I'm following everybody back. I just want to tap in with the people, man. You know, and anytime I go live and stuff, like you can ask questions. Like I do well. At the end of the day, I just want to help you. I have one condition though. If I give you advice, you have to use it. Because if you don't, I'm not giving you nothing else. So, and I will remember when I told you something. And if you come back to me and I ask you about that and you can't answer that, I'm done. Because I don't want to waste your time and you're definitely not going to waste mine. So you're free to ask, but there has to be some accountability with that. We need accountability partners, all of us. We'll get a whole lot further. When people are tough on you, oftentimes it's because they love you. Because if they don't care. They really want to see you going the wrong way. Appreciate the people who are hard on you. When I'm at school, and this is one thing I talked about at my graduation. The first 350 hours, 400 hours, my new students, they love me. Well, man, this school is amazing. I'm learning so much. It's great. But that middle 800, from that 400 to that 1200, I get on their nerves. I'm picking on. I'm picking on him. I'm picking on him. He doesn't like me. He gets on my nerves. All of that stuff, man. He's always riding me, man. He don't say nothing to this person. I feel like all he do is criticize me. He don't never, compliment me on my haircuts, this and this and that. And the last 300, man, you changed my life. I'm forever grateful for you, bro. Thank you for what you do. I really appreciate it. I know I don't tell you. And it's all one-on-one. It's all off to the side. You know what I mean? Because they still haven't just gotten that part of them out where they're like, they probably talked about me to their classmates and all that. It's all love, though. I understand it. I tell them this. Look, you're going to love me in the beginning. You're going to hate me in the middle. And then you're going to respect me at the end. You have people in your life that are doing that to you. But you never get through the 800 hours to get to the respect at the end. You need to be able to have tough conversations. It's a level of maturity that is required. But we got to learn, especially as a culture today, how to have the tough conversations. We got to do it. It's the only way forward. It's the only way forward, man. We can't keep hiding behind a screen. We got to have the tough conversations.
And that could be a segue into the next conversation, Gem Talk. We're going to talk about tough conversations. Barbers.
The hard ones.
Appreciate y'all, man. If you haven't got an opportunity to listen to this whole thing, make sure you do. I'm also gonna ultimately at some point strip it down to just the audio and upload it on like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that. But that won't be for a little bit. So you're gonna have to watch it on YouTube for a little while. But make sure you go back and watch it. This is worth a couple rewatches because I'm sure when we're talking, there's epiphanies going on and you might miss something that you catch the next time. So make sure you rewatch it. Share this with a friend who you feel like will get value out of this as well. Pay it forward. If you feel like you got a lot of value out of this, it's only right that you give it to somebody else.
Yes,
you know what I'm
saying?
As well.
And it's so crazy, right? You said that, Marv. It made me think of one last thing, and then we definitely getting off.
Yeah,
please.
Next thing you know, it's an hour and 20 minutes later. And one more thing.
Right. Please. He said, watch this. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. one of the best things I learned. Watch your own game tape. That's how you get better. I'm going to watch this in full probably tomorrow.
I'm probably gonna watch it tonight, to be honest.
To see what I can
wait, but then I can't help
right. To see what I said, what I didn't say, what I forgot. How did I sound? Was I looking at the camera? Was I looking off? Demeanor, posture, wordplay, choice of words, all of that. Watch your own game tape. There are so many barbers I talk to. They say, "Oh no, I can't be on camera." Get over that. Get over yourself. Get over that insecurity. You watch your own game tape is how you get better. Watch your own game tape. Watch your game tape. All the greats, I don't care what sports you're in, they watch game tape. Tom Brady is who he is because he watches game tape. Peyton Manning too. Michael Jordan, Kobe, all of them. LeBron, they study their own film. When I was in speaker training to be a public speaker, they said, I want you to create 3 videos tonight. It was day 1. And it's like, I want you to criticize yourself in written format tomorrow. And then at the end, I had to create a completion video to submit. And they were like, if you've watched all the videos you created through this program, you were your own coach. You no longer need us. Go speak and watch your own game tape. Changed my life forever.
Watch your game tape. Barbers, that's what I'm going to do after this. Barbers, I'll be watching this again tonight. I act like
I love y'all, man. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your time.
We'll be back, though, guys. Make sure you follow me because we'll keep you updated when we come back because we got a lot more conversations to come. Don't worry. It ain't going to be another, long drawn out time. We'll be back a lot sooner than you expect. So we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in. We love y'all. We'll hang out for a couple minutes. I'm going to end the stream so we can chat behind the scenes. Barbers.
All right, good stuff.
We'll talk to you soon. Let me hit this end stream.